It's the Center Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal! Yes! Yes! Yes, this is my favorite part of the game.
Analyzing all of the league matchups week to week.
You can't win!
Get him a body bag! Finish him!
That is a bit above average.
I said this sucks, and basically so do you.
And discussing the boom, bust, and hidden gem players throughout the league.
We ain't found shit!
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Laces out.
Touchdown!
And here's your host,
Allow myself to introduce myself.
David Harbatkin. Hello and welcome to the Center Fantasy Football Podcast for week, I never know, it's 11? 11, right? Rival, no. Is it? 11, I got it right. Yeah. Joining me on the program is the commissioner of the league, no longer the luckiest man in the league, and maybe somebody who is quite lucky, the man who escaped the spider.
Oh my gosh, that web is Harbatkin. You're right.
I mean, you were tangled in there. You were like,
I was tangled. I mean, I'll tell you, Jim has a web. It is.
So you certainly untied that knot, though.
Oh, it's very, very lucky.
Yeah.
He got with Goater. I will say that.
well,
did you watch that Monday night game, Harbatkin?
I didn't watch a single game. The only thing, the Monday night game I definitely didn't even pay attention to. The only thing, so I watched, well, I didn't watch any games because I didn't have any access to any of them, but I saw the scores after the early games, and I was like, all right, this is fine, and then I think I went to sleep because, I mean, it was already late there, and I woke up at like 1 a.m. or something. I was like, to pee, and I was like, I'll just go check the scores or whatever. And then suddenly, things were not going well, and then, I saw the chat about him being injured, and then I started checking Twitter, and then, so I'm like, next thing I know, I'm up until whenever. And then, that must have been about 10? I don't even know. And then, 1 a.m, I think I finally started watching, but I couldn't watch the San Francisco game, and it was really close, and I just kept getting alerts that said, lead change, this is really close or whatever, and I tried to find anywhere that I could find the game, and I couldn't find it, but so I had to watch it on the app, and it's like, play loading. It's the most annoying and frustrating thing, and
yeah, the NFL has everything on lockdown when you go overseas. They don't even let you use VPNs and stuff. So it's horrible. I mean, I signed on to my TV subscription on NFL Network when I was in Rome, and they blocked it. And I used a VPN.
Yeah, I have a VPN too. I was trying to use the VPN.
Terrible. So I was like, I gotta watch these games. I mean, it's Sunday night's my last night here. I want to have a good night in my hotel, and so I downloaded Fubo TV with a free trial. I mean, I made up an email because it's my 7th free trial with that subscription. But I'm not going to pay $80 a month. But I wanted
$80 a month.
It's $80 a month, but they have every sports channel, but they give you a 7-day free trial. So I have 8 different emails, and I just make a free trial every time I go overseas. I can watch football that week.
God.
So anyone who goes overseas, if they want to watch football, that's how you do it.
I would do it this weekend, but does it count mid-air? Because I'm going to be literally mid-air the entire Sunday games this week.
Well, a lot of I try to get Wi-Fi online too, overseas too, or when I'm on the plane, but a lot of the airlines, they don't allow streaming.
Right, so I'm gonna
you have to purchase Wi-Fi on most airlines.
Oh yeah, I just looked it up actually before I could purchase it on Japan Airlines. I could purchase it for $20.
Oh, so expensive.
$20, it's nothing. I'll pay for that because I'll at least be able to look at Twitter to see if my players are injured. Because I just need that window beforehand, just to know if I could play Andrews or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, or Komet. I mean, like, because he's looking like a game time decision too. And plus, I don't really.
Just have one of your friends who is not in our fantasy league log on.
I have two-factor authentication. It's gonna be. I don't even know how it would just. It's just would be annoying.
Okay.
I'll just do it. It's fine. Plus, my friends are idiots. Present company included. I, I, but I don't even because I leave Friday night. I don't have a Saturday. I land on Sunday. I have all day Sunday, which would be Saturday, I guess, in Japan, and then the second flight takes off at midnight Sunday. But then, yeah, I'm just gonna be in midair the whole time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, hopefully a decision's made. On the status of these players. It's good to know that that they're moving the game to Detroit, though. Like you were saying, the Buffalo game. I mean, it's good for fantasy purposes, for NFL purposes. What a bunch of babies! I can't believe that they're not going to play it.
Seriously. And I checked the forecast. It's supposed to snow like 6 feet on Friday and Saturday, but not on Sunday. So shovel the damn snow and play the game.
Exactly.
Ridiculous.
It's 6 feet. What's the big deal? So it's as tall as a human. I don't care.
Yeah.
Wimps. All right. Well, let's take a look at these matchups for last week. You're gonna have to help me with a lot of this stuff because, like I said, I didn't watch any of it. Where shall we start?
Let's see. From last week, well, we're gonna save me and the spider.
Well, that's fine. Let's just start with me because I already, basically described my experiences as I was watching this. So the 1603ers end up winning 119 to 115. This was a really close game. Everything looked so after the early games. Everything looked great for me. He had subpar performances all over the place. And look, Foreman had 19. I had 23 from Komet. Peoples-Jones had 14.9. I mean, everything was looking good. And then suddenly Cup went down, and then the wheels started to come off. I mean, my defense played well, 12 points for the Tennessee defense. But yeah, with 2.9 points for Cup, and the injury, I mean, that just totally screwed my season and really made this game much more difficult than it needed to be. He got 27.6 from Adams, 13 from Eckler, 13 from Moreau. I mean, most of it was not, it was really Adams for him, but it was still close enough, given the 2 from Cup. And it was really back and forth. I mean, like I was watching the game on the app, and it would say next play loading, and then it would show what happened, and then after I see what the play is, then I would go to Twitter and then try to watch the highlight of the play that just happened, because usually somebody would be playing it, especially for something big. It was really there was a touchdown at the end. I think it was a touchdown to McCaffrey right towards the end that made the buffer like 5 points or something, but then he still had Deebo Samuel, and he still had Eckler. Unfortunately, on the last 2 drives, I believe Herbert threw interceptions, if I'm correct. And
I did not see that game.
And well, I guess nobody did. And then that's really what sealed the game. I mean, but it was back and forth. I mean, all throughout the evening it was back and forth. He would take a lead, I would take a lead, he would take a lead, I would take a lead. So and then that made a difference. But obviously we needed that win because one. I mean, we could talk about the standings afterwards, but I mean, we're in trouble. I mean, we've had injury problems galore, and now, I mean, with the cup injury, I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, ironically, the only person who hasn't been injured yet, knock on wood, has been Cup. But, I mean, not Cup, I mean, McCaffrey, who everybody, was worried about the injury before, but, before the season. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Cup. I mean, I think he's out for the year personally because with that team kind of getting out of playoff contention, like they're just such a crap team.
Yeah, I mean, we picked up Skronik. I mean, we'll see if he could. I mean, he's going to fill in the slot role. I don't think he's going to be the same as.
Why are you now with Skronik? I mentioned Tyreek Hill might be available to you.
What?
Wait, would you rather roll with Skronik than Tyreek Hill?
I had to give up nothing to get Skronik, and
you're going to get nothing from him. He sucks.
I have other players. I mean, I'm not giving you McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You're just not getting him. I don't need other. I have at least.
Wait. What was this offer? Just like McCaffrey for Hill, Tyreek Hill, straight up.
He didn't make an offer. He kind of vaguely made an offer prior to this broadcast. He's like,
honestly, if Gaze is offering you Tyreek Hill for McCaffrey straight up, I would take that.
Well, that's good. You can get McCaffrey next year, and you could make that trade. I'm not going to do it.
Tyreek Hill has probably been one of the best receivers in.
Let's just say he's been extremely consistent.
He's been insanely good.
I don't care. I have 2 quality running backs. It's harder to get a running back. Aren't you, mister? I have running back. What are you, his agent? That's absolutely not going to happen. First of all, by the way.
All right, fine. I mean,
there's 2 days left in the trade deadline until the trade deadline. It's the 19th, so it's Saturday, I believe. So 1 day after everybody listens to this, and you're not going to make a deal with me on this broadcast, and you're not going to make a deal with me, period.
This is the first I'm hearing of it, but
it's the first that both of us are hearing about it.
There might be a reason why the 2 guys you're talking to are in first and second place, though.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's price for the hagglers for the rest of anybody else listening to the podcast.
Why don't you also, by the way, give him to me on the week that he has a bye, which is why you're trying to move him, so that I could absolutely lose to the Whalers in a game that I need to win. Also, by the way, keep talking about how you're in first and second place, because the fantasy gods love to hear that kind of bragging early in the season. They love to hear it. Please.
You mentioned our place. How is that insulting to the gods?
Yeah, right.
How was that insulting? Yeah,
we're just stating facts. We're not bragging.
Exactly. That's all you're doing. That the fantasy gods love it. They love cocky attitudes like the both of you are exhibiting.
Stating facts is not cocky.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
What I said when you first called was, look, as of right now, looks like the road to whatever goes through Hackettstown. Is that being cocky?
Yeah, not at all. No, not at all. It sounds great. The fantasy gods will love that.
The Mormon Football League. We can't say anything. Since when did it become the Mormon Football League?
You can say whatever you want. Look. I don't control what the gods do.
The MFL.
The fantasy gods. I mean, look.
You're talking Friedman to not say anything.
What?
What?
You're trash talking Friedman to not say anything. I mean, that's impossible.
Impossible. And I won last year, so it seems like it's all good. The fantasy, I've made up with the fantasy gods. Maybe I pissed them off the first year, but ever since it's been fine.
I mean, for a player who's won the championship the previous season, Friedman is breaking records for how he's doing. The next season, the champion always does horribly.
Except for me.
What did you do your second season? You were like 500, right?
Me?
And you squeaked into the playoffs.
You weren't 8-1 dominating the league.
Who?
You after your championship.
What year did I win?
I mean, Friedman is putting the champion into new territory.
I mean, yes.
I mean, he's obviously going to make the playoffs. He's already made the playoffs. He's only the second champion to ever make the playoffs afterward, and certainly not thrashing the rest of the league like he's been doing.
I mean, all I'm saying is that it's a league of scoundrels, and you still have 1 day left before the fantasy deadline. I mean, before the trade deadline, and keep talking like that, and you'll find a super team out there. I don't know, Wakanda and Gronky. I mean, and Zamunda don't really have much to play with. I might have to go shopping at Zmart to load up, or maybe some other people. You don't want to give the other teams motivations to want to beat you. There's all kinds of ways that
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything or whatever. Just keep. Yeah, I'm just saying. You don't want to be. I mean, do I have to remind you of the target that was on your back and what happened after that? I mean, do we have to re-bring out the target?
I don't know. If you're going to go shopping at Zmart, I mean, you better bring your American Express Black card, because the couple of look like they're going to be doing anything.
What's that?
You better take his whole entire team.
I mean, he's.
You might switch teams with him, because looking at the 1603ers, the Garoppolo Mooney combo doesn't really scare you anymore. With Peoples Jones thrown in there for extra quote unquote firepower. I mean, Up was a big.
It was a huge piece of your team. The Cup, Foreman, McCaffrey, those are the only three guys that you kind of look at on your team.
I know Clement is coming on. He's really.
And Andrews.
Yeah, but can Fields keep it up?
No, he's going to keep it up for this week.
Right.
Might I remind you that half of the Hackettstown championships were won with Joe Flacco as the quarterback. If you think that I'm just going to roll over, I can win with jabronis too. All I'm saying is that don't count your chickens before they're hatched. But if you want to brag and you want to go ahead.
Not Jimmy Gag.
Jimmy
G, Jimmy Gag. I don't know.
It's too bad that the deadline is this weekend, because if I went down this weekend after the discussion and the attitude that I am getting from Hackettstown at this point, I would consider fire sailing my team to an opponent that I feel needs some charity. Just to stop the arrogance that's flowing out of Hackettstown because they're the champions of the 11-week season.
This displaced anger from the Cooper Cup injury. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just bitterness.
But also, what?
It's just bitterness. Mm-hmm. That's all right. Let's move on.
Salty.
Okay.
The injury bug has hit the 1603ers in a big way, and it's just creating a meltdown.
Okay.
All right.
I play you next week. Just remember that.
All right.
Just remember that.
Next week? Ooh, that's juicy.
I believe it's next week. Yes, I do.
It is next week.
That's very juicy right there. I'll be waiting for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me versus Friedman was a huge hyped up rivalry week. That you versus Harbacken, that's going to be just as good.
It's going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Moving along, you can move to the next matchup.
All right, let's switch off to. We'll save the fan. Let's go with Lightning Rods versus Nick and Jamie.
Lightning Rods versus Nick and Jamie. So Lightning Rods win 126.6 to 106.84.
CeeDee Lamb got 38.
Yeah, that's quite a score. 21.8 from Pollard. See, now that he's actually, Ezekiel Elliott has been out, it seems, he's been able to focus all those points in one direction. Then he puts in a Darrell Henderson. I mean, he still loses. But I mean, he had Zach Ertz get injured in that game. Drake London was 14 points. First of all, Lightning Rod's hanging around. I mean, this was a big game because this dragged them both down. This is actually the only game that gave me the buffer that I have right now. But yeah, I mean,
where he lost the game is the quarterback battle.
Yeah, which is ironic because they end up going in there and then beating Philadelphia, and Heineke only gets 5.4.
I know. It was the defense that carried them in that Monday night game.
Yeah, so I didn't watch that, but it's 211 passing yards, 1 INT, 1 fumble lost. Ouch. Yeah, Diggs with 24, Pittman with 12.3, Pierce with 12.2, 11.5, and then 19 from Tony. I seem to see something about some kind of injuries that led to Tony having, because isn't everybody
Juju got hurt, and then Hardman is out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Montgomery only got 5.4 points here. I mean, it seems like they're not right. So it seems like Fields is just rushing the ball himself all the time.
Oh yeah, Montgomery's numbers have plummeted ever since. I mean, Fields he had 178 yards rushing against one. Who was it? Like 2 weeks ago, and then he turns in a performance this week. I think he had 141 this week. He's got some rushing numbers, buddy.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
Fields, how ironic.
And Whalers ended up picking up him up at the right time. And he was right. He saw the schedule that he had. Following this. So I think this weekend he's going to have a good game too. But following that,
Dash Fields on his bench for the whole season and then drops him when he gets hot.
Of course. Well, I mean, we actually made fun of Nick for holding on to Fields. But yeah, Whalers picked him up at just the right time for like $5 more than the rest of us. But I wonder if he's. So I think he's going to have a good week this week, unfortunately. But then we'll see if he cools down because he gets a much tougher schedule after this week to finish out the season. But yeah, I mean, the running numbers have really dropped off, and then so Montgomery, only gets 5.4, and then Herbert got injured, so But anyway, Pittman he gets Matt Ryan back with I still don't know what's going on in Indianapolis, but
yeah, Jeff Saturday, the high school coach.
Saturday with no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, but I'm actually, so keep talking about this game. I have to actually look something up.
The thing about Saturday is, like, I don't know why the NFL's up in arms over no minority candidates were interviewed. Nobody interviews anybody during the season. They always, the team that fires their coach, it's always an interim coach. They always pick like the ball boy to become interim. Like, they don't interview. It's not a phone. Let's get a black guy in here.
Yeah, they just need someone at the moment. Like,
bring in what you're doing. I mean, they don't know any of your players. They don't know any. Like, why would you even waste? That's such a disaster. You just name somebody, take your head only. The assistants do that, and then you search next year. But of course, the NFL is up in arms over the minority candidates.
I know.
Who do you want to? Don King? I mean, whoever gets, it's just going to be a figurehead. Such a waste.
Why don't you get Steve Harvey? Harvey to coach.
But also, interim coaches are not part of the Rooney Rule.
What is the Rooney Rule anyway? Why would they even have a Rooney Rule? What does Rooney have to do with anything?
It's just what the
Wayne Rooney. I mean, the World Cup is starting soon.
First of all, Wayne Rooney has been retired for a while. I used to love to use him against John in FIFA. And no, it's named after Rooney, Art Rooney. All right.
Oh,
Rooney
okay.
from
What is a Rooney? You don't have to hire black guys if your team is all white. That's a Rooney.
it's just that you have to interview. I mean, you've heard of the Rooney Rule, right? I mean, it's been around for
Anybody. I mean, it's your organization. If your GM doesn't want to like mess around with anything, he doesn't have to. He's the one signing the checks.
I am not going to comment on NFL policy of this. All I'm saying is that that's what the rule is, and and it doesn't apply to interim coaches. So I don't know what else to
Yeah.
But he's still in there, and I don't know.
I mean, he won his first game, albeit it was against the Raiders.
It is the prerogative of the organization to run it any way they see fit. You don't have to interview anybody.
Right.
Dave Chappelle. With the hood on.
I mean,
remember that guy's character's name that Dave Chappelle plays?
I don't remember.
hiring coaches or hiring staff shouldn't be based on someone's race. It should be based on someone's qualifications.
Look at Dave Harbakin. Nobody's giving him any trouble. He's the all-white player. Anybody of color on Dave's team even? I mean, nobody's going after him. With the Rooney Rule, the Harbakin Rule. I think he got Foreman. That broke the color barrier.
It was Herbert did. Peoples Jones did. I think it's a terrible. That's did you call Myers? What are you talking about?
Did Dave Harbakin have to apologize?
Yes, I had to apologize to Eugene for something that I didn't even notice. That was pointed out by.
Mind you, I will point out that ever since Harbakin started mixing his team, he's gone down the drain. When his team was all white, he was unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enough about that.
I have no comment on any of this.
What game are we?
What? I have no public comment on any of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can feel the heat on Dave's brow. Let's go right to free agency, right to the standings. Let's skip the rest of the games. All right. So anyway, that covers lightning rods and Nick and Jamie. Let's go to Gronky Kong.
Yeah,
Sure.
Gronky Kong is slowly but surely getting back in the mix.
Yeah, great.
Keep going. Just take it over. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to sit here silently for the rest of the show. I'm not going to get pissed at the ridiculous bragging that's coming out of Hackestown. I'm not going to get
bragging?
I'm not going to get fired for the other conversations that are happening. I'm barely going to participate in the rest of this episode. Because you're pissed because you're pissed that I won't trade for Tyreek Hill.
Who's gonna fire you? This is our podcast.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. People can find stuff, and I am not saying anything publicly about anything. I disavow myself from all of your ridiculous comments.
Football thing, FCC.
What's that?
Who cares what we have to say on this podcast about anything? Who are you fired by?
I don't know.
All right, whatever. Let's move on to the Gronky Kong. Clever.
Right, so
please go ahead. I have said nothing. I continue to say nothing. I remain with no comment on any of this ridiculousness. I don't even know what you're talking about anymore.
Jeff Saturday has caused.
yeah, because he's white. All right, so 22 for Daniel Jones against Houston. You got 19 from Godwin. Hopkins with 19, who continues to be very good post suspension. Kamara with 7, disappointing against Pittsburgh, but he didn't need the extra points, which he was lucky about. Chubb with 15, who's consistently been in double digits every game. Schultz with 17, that's a good performance. Devonta Smith with 13.9, and Bass with 13. That's a good kicking performance. And Arizona with 8. For clever name pending, Mahomes had a great game against Jacksonville. DJ Moore, not so much, as well as Allen Robinson, but his running backs were pretty good with Jacobs and Cook. That Minnesota Buffalo game was insane.
Yeah. We talk about that aloud.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that game. Gesicki with 5 points.
Gesicki now. I mean, he's on a different team every week, and he sucks for every. Why would you even pick him up?
Yeah, I mean, he's garbage. Deontay Johnson with 10.3. That's Pittsburgh is coming along. They're just well coached. They have a lot of pride, so watch out for Pittsburgh.
Kicker Koo misses 2 extra points.
2 extra points. I mean, that guy should be dropped.
That's
yeah, that's bad. And then Buffalo defense with 7. So overall, good game. I think the receivers for Gronky Kong, that's where it kind of turned in his favor.
Friedman. Now, remember my instincts once again, where I was going to offer clever name pending Allen for Jacobs and Cook, and look what happened. It would have been dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, but we didn't know about the Allen injury at that point.
That's right. That would have been even better.
He doesn't need.
But he doesn't need a quarterback because he has Mahomes, so he wouldn't accept that.
That's true. Maybe he could have dealt him away to somebody. Who knows?
The utter selfishness of every trader in this league. It's unbelievable to me.
I mean, it's interesting because Gronky Kong was telling me that he was trying to offer Mahomes, or he was trying to get Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he was thinking of offering, who was it?
I seem to recall this trade.
It was Hopkins. Let me look it up. I forget.
Scintillating radio, by the way, or YouTube television right now. While you look this up, why don't you weigh in on something else controversial? You want to talk about I don't know, Qatar hosting the World Cup. Your thoughts?
Well, I did hear that Qatar, they paid the Ecuadorian midfielders. They offered them $8 million to tank the first game of the World Cup. So any bettors out there, if you're thinking of betting Ecuador, think again.
Ecuador's in the World Cup?
Mm-hmm. Ecuador and Qatar. It's the first game of the World Cup on Sunday.
Wow. I mean, way to lead with your front foot forward on that Ecuador versus Qatar.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of who to bet in that game, and I'm thinking that that FIFA is going to make sure make sure Qatar gets to the next stage. So there's definitely some briberies going on there, but that's for a different day. So clever name pending offered Gronky Kong Mahomes for Jackson and Hopkins. It's an interesting trade offer.
Was it the other way around? I thought it was the other way. I thought he offered him, or was it?
No, clever name pending actually offered Gronky Kong that trade.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Gronky Kong declined it, but
good. I mean, were you just giving somebody away? Throw Hopkins in there. Throw your best receiver in there. Sweeten the pot.
First of all, it was months ago before Hopkins was even playing, by the way.
Was it during the suspended?
Yeah, but Mahomes is not that much better than Lamar. I mean, Mahomes is really good. He's probably a little bit better, but not like where you can give up
I mean,
and
but you also, I mean, you're looking
clear
at
cut.
I think that if I recall, and we're talking about a long time ago, but that was offered like almost in week 4 or something like that, where Lamar was getting 48, 47, those kinds of numbers. I mean, yeah, I mean, looking now, I mean, and that was back when Mahomes was getting 21 and 19 points. So
Mahomes' numbers, I didn't even realize how great they were.
yeah,
That's incredible consistency.
yeah, exactly. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah. So, I mean, he's no Garoppolo. I mean, he's pretty consistent too. I mean, he gets consistently right around the 20 mark.
Yeah. I mean, so this game, I think it came down to the receivers, and I mean, it was just kind of Gronky Kong had decent performances across the board, whereas like Clever Name Pending, his just receivers just kind of messed up.
And he has Mike Gesicki. That's a big mistake.
Yeah. And the -3 definitely hurts when your kicker gets a net gain of 16 more points. It's a big difference. So.
Yeah. Allen Robinson didn't really step it up either in the absence of Cup, so.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, I mean, they still have PJ Walker thrown at him, right? So, I mean, he's obviously weak at wide receiver right there.
Yeah.
What's that?
This is a guy who beat Tyreek Hill.
I mean, Gronky is on a 4-game winning streak now, so I think he hasn't lost since he got Hopkins back. So
why are you so looking to get rid of? Why are you looking to get rid of Tyreek Hill so much? I don't understand this.
I don't really understand that either.
Just manage his team. Why does there have to be an ulterior motive?
There's clearly something wrong if you're this high on trying to get rid of Tyreek Hill to the point that I don't know what's happening. Do you have some special Tyreek?
I think he just wants to give you a black guy, a black player.
Let's not go back into that, Freeman.
Moving on to the next game.
He just wants to diversify your team a little bit. I think he.
All right, let's switch to.
Not all of us have anonymous jobs at CVS Pharmacy where nobody cares what they do.
I see where you're going with this. Okay. That's why you said fired. I'm like, we can fire fantasy. You can't get fired in fantasy football. Okay, I got you, Harbacker. No, Harbacker is a stand-up individual. I've known this guy for 20 years. He's a really great guy. All right, on to the next game. All right,
let's. It sound almost worse there. Yeah, he's a really great guy. I just want to.
I don't know why. This is usually a really great. All right, next game. All right, let's go to. Oh my God, the Whalers explosion over Hackettstown's finest, who's very surprising sub 100 for
the performance.
Mm-hmm.
What game are we on?
Finest and Whalers.
Oh, there you go. Oh yes. I love how the bragging is coming from a guy. This is when you're bragging like this? When you score 93 points? That's where it's coming from?
I'm not bragging. I'm just stating facts.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're just stating facts.
Well, the fact is, I mean, all things aside, you got your ass kicked by Whalers. What happened? Oh, my God. It was the Jefferson Fields combo.
No, yeah, I mean, that killed me. That was
let's let the finest go over this game. What happened here, Friedman?
All right. So first of all, I didn't have my my quarterback, Burrow. So playing Brissett, that wasn't great. I thought it would be a shootout. So I was thinking, should I play Mariota? Should I play Brissett? I was like, I'm going to go with Brissett. So he had only 18 points, sub 20, which isn't great. Schuster got hurt, so that wasn't good either. You can scroll down.
Sure.
Henry with only 8 points against Denver. That like when your best guys just don't do much. It's just tough. And then his guys just went off. Jefferson was crazy, especially in that last drive. I mean, he was just an absolute monster. I mean, insane. Fields just was crazy against Detroit. Um, Aaron Jones also had a good game. Kirk was crazy against Kansas City. So like he had four guys that just did amazing. And when my best guy is out or only has 8 points, and then my quarterback is out, and one of my receivers gets injured, it's just a tough day at the office. So I was a little also disappointed on Monday night with Philly's defense only having 6 points. Sanders, I thought he would have a bigger game. I mean, I was out of it going into Monday night, but like still, it's I felt like I could have added to my point total a little bit there, but it was just a tough game. So
Here, going into the draft, this is where Dave Harbacken. What happened to Whalers here? This is Dave Harbacken's dream of what he should have had this season. So what Whalers did here was what Harbacken was trying to do. He was replace Fields with Russell Wilson, Jefferson, Jones with McCaffrey, and Kirk with Andrews. And the rest of the people were basically just chip-ins, and this is what Harbacken was looking to do all season long. Ride four big superstars with – and I mean, he even got 0 from the kicker, and he still got 161 points.
Exactly. This was the plan.
This is the example of what Harbacken was gunning for. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson didn't work out, but this was the model. Like he's no Justin Fields. I mean, how saying that? Russell Wilson is no Justin Fields, but this is what Harbacken was gunning for right here. This was his dream model, and Whalers pulled it off with these 4 players.
Yeah,
yeah, that's very true.
And but to be fair, I mean Jefferson was at the beginning of the season, he was comparable to Kupp. I mean, people were putting them in the same kind of category. Aaron Jones is a little bit lower than McCaffrey was, but in the preseason rankings, but he I mean these are the kind of numbers that one was hoping for. I mean, Kirk, I mean, what have his numbers been like? I mean, so
51 points is 3/4 responsible for Zemar. Okay, Zemar drops Fields, and then he makes the trade for Jones and Kirk to the Whalers. We can thank Zemar for 100 of these points.
Of course, you could always thank Zemar for all this, and this is, by the way, why I said you can't ever count Rasputin out until. You could shoot him, you could poison him, but he's just not. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. He's not dead. He's not dead.
The teams that Nick has built over the seasons is incredible.
Yeah, he's the kingmaker
for other players. Nick had all of these players except for Jefferson.
I mean, this game was over at like 1:30.
Is anybody on this an original?
No, Lozardi got hockey. I mean, Justin Jefferson is. I mean,
no, I know. Jefferson.
I think Kittle is too. Yeah, he's got original pieces, but by far the damage this was done by former Zamunda players.
Yeah, I mean Kittle. All right, so he got 3 points from his original draft. Was Swift his?
The only weakness on the Whalers is apparently is Butker.
So is Swift? Was Swift originally his?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
is the kicker, which he doesn't even need to get 161 points.
No, I know.
So yeah, and on Friedman's side of the ball, I mean, Henry with 8, Kelsey as usual 20. I mean, you just pencil Kelsey in for 20. I mean, every time. Schuster's injury didn't. I mean, Brisket, really? That was. I mean, your quarterback's on a bye. What are you going to do? But I mean, Brisket. Ugh. None of these players on his bench would have helped him. You could have had all the combined points. I don't think it would have helped.
Yeah, I did have some bench blunders as well. With
Doesn't
Gabriel
matter.
Davis. It didn't matter.
No. Hardman's on IR, so keep picking up cheap.
Yeah, I picked up that Pittsburgh backup running back Warren, because he's actually been getting some carries behind Najee.
Yeah, I've heard some things about him.
Jalen Warren.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, this is just a week where they're just a team.
Just a rough week. Yeah, it's just a rough week. So I mean, that's why you build a buffer, and it helped that you won this week. To be honest, because I kept my full game lead, first place.
But as I said in the comments before, it's actually worse for you because you don't want Kimmel to be the one that's nipping on your butt, on your heels, because Gies can meet you in points. Kimmel was never going to meet you. He needed 2 extra games.
I'd still rather be one up in the win column than the points. Because if he won and I lost, then he would be like a full game up, whereas we would be tied for record and we'd only be fighting for points then.
Which you would have him on. By a lot. By more than he can ever hope to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, he's down.
Yeah, but I would still have to win my matchup. If I lost,
you're going to have to win anyway.
Yeah, but now with Geza, if I lose, but I still lose with a good point amount, I could still be in first. Whereas if that happened with Kimmel, there's no way I would have been in first because he would have more wins than I did. So I'd still rather be one up in the win column.
I understand that, but I'm just saying in the long run to have you. I mean,
yeah. I'm saying in the long run, in the long stretch of things, which Friedman never looks at, you're 200 points over Kimmel, so it's a lot easier for you to tie break him in the long run. Because regardless of how many times your record is tied, you're always going to beat him in record. I mean points. The points wise, you have Kimmel the rest of the way, pretty much. Yeah.
And you would, and like so in this match, I'm saying specific to this matchup, if you're looking at it from your perspective, if if we're not even at that game, we can get to that game later, or we can talk about it in the standings. But if Gies loses that game, then he gets knocked well below you. He gets knocked 2 games behind you. Now he's only 1 game behind you, and he can catch you on points. So 1 loss for you, and suddenly. What is it? The south side, the west side, the east side of Hackettstown is
it's 1 loss for me, but he still has to win.
Yes, but you could have knocked him 2 away if he would have lost both. Like if he would have lost that, he would have been knocked 2 games behind. So he needs 2 wins.
Look, what Harback is trying to say is in the long term for the rest of the season. Let's just say you just look at the wave between you and Kimmel. Every single time, let's just say you lose and Kimmel wins, if you get back to equilibrium with Kimmel, you always have the advantage because you're destroying him in points. Okay. However, the long run between me and you losing and winning back and forth, you might be losing regardless of what happens because I'm so close to you in points.
Exactly. Yeah. Of course, this is the part of the show where I put the where I got rid of my face. I could this is the part where I could actually show my face. I'm not even embarrassed by it. But of course,
I guess. I mean,
whatever.
I see your point. I guess it's like pretty even in terms of who I should have rooted for in that matchup between you and Kimmel, but it's all right.
Anyway, moving on. Maybe to that game. I don't know what game. So we've done that.
Yeah, let's go to the Hagler and Kimmel.
I mean, we've already started to talk about it. You might as well get back to talking about this. But as I was saying, I still think that if you're in, you could root against him in the future, but now you've basically made it so it doesn't matter. Not that you have control over it, but whatever. go over this game. This looks pretty exciting. That I paid no attention to.
This was a very exciting game. There all week long there was speculation whether Allen would play or not. And after the Thursday night game, Kimmel actually posted a pretty funny picture of Patterson with a clown head with his 3 points. Unfortunately, for some ungodly reason, the person who does worst on Thursday night always ends up winning. I mean, I don't know how far we have to go back to find a person who did poorly on Thursday and still won that week. It's just for some reason
You mean did well on Thursday?
On Thursday, yeah. They have to have a player, and their opponent has to have played, right? And they have to have done significantly worse than their opponent. I think they've won every single time. I mean, it would be some monster research which nobody's going to waste their time doing, but it's called the Thursday night curse. So Patterson got 3 on Thursday, and
also I love how you say there was some what were you saying about Allen? How did you frame it? Like there was some speculation about Allen. We were downright making fun of you all week. And meme after meme after meme about Allen.
I understand like why. Like I mean, if he doesn't play, you obviously have to go for a backup. Like it wasn't like I made some bold prediction. Allen will crush you all. As a matter of fact, Manny was. I mean, I told you guys at least 3 weeks ago that I had my reservations about Allen. I knew something bad was going to happen, and that wasn't even
right. I mean, I thought Allen was a horse, and he wasn't going to get hurt or anything. Like,
no, it wasn't even his injury; it was his poor play. I was already, and you guys were like, okay, Belichick. Oh. But I knew something was off with his fucking play. He was reading his own press clippings that he was a Super Bowl champion already. So he ended up playing against Minnesota in the game of the year. Dave, did you see the Justin Jefferson catch?
I did see that catch, yeah.
Was freaking
best catch since that Odell catch a couple of years ago.
All right, and then you got Tyreek Hill, who's the guy I'm trying to get rid of, wink, wink, had 15.4 points. Olave, we've got a humongous problem with Andy Dalton. He sucks, okay? I don't know why the Saints...
He's going to play this week, too.
Yeah, and again, he's going to play because Winston has, like, backbone injuries or whatever, but he's already suited up for every single game. My whole thing with Dalton is, and some announcer pointed this out, if you're going to throw interceptions and get sacked and fumble and suck, then just put Winston in there. What's the difference? No, we have Dalton until he loses his job. I mean, if this kind of play doesn't lose your job, the Saints should not be an official organization. They suck, okay? I saw the Dalton game against Pittsburgh. He sucks, okay? Andy Dalton is trash. He's straight up trash. I mean, just make Winston what up, or just I would at this point just put Taysom Hill in there. I don't care. Andy Dalton is horrendous. C-Pat had his clown-like performance with 3 points. I'm really concerned about him. Singletary, I mean, he after the fumble in that game, he disappeared. All right, Dulcich, my superstar tight end, who I think is going to be moving forward. Russell Wilson sucks.
He's really bad. Wilson is garbage.
Terrible. He's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Dave Harbakin's defense had 12 points. I mean, they had like 20 sacks in that game. It was ridiculous. And the only one who saved this season was McLaurin against the Eagles. And I knew that they would play well because anybody that's playing the undefeated team, they always step up their game. They want to be that guy that beats the undefeated team. So I knew McLaurin was in for
also McLaurin.
So Heineke only had 5 points, but McLaurin had 20, 21.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because that's going back to last season, Heineke loves throwing to McLaurin. I mean, they just,
I guess neither one got into the end zone, but receivers and running backs get more points for yards.
He had 8 receptions and 128 receiving yards. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's 20 points.
Clearly, Heineke's lover. I mean, are we allowed to say that as Dave Harbakin's job? We're going into another territory that might threaten Dave Harbakin. All right,
I feel like I'm on vaguely safe territory there.
Say that McLaurin is Heineke's lover. If we're
I don't know. Do you want me to? I can get out. I can get out the
Want to put the rabbit face back on?
Yeah, we'll put the rabbit face back on just in case.
Okay, well the rabbit face is up. I mean, McLaurin is Heineke's lover. Not there's anything wrong with that. Okay, he's ex-kicker and he sucked. I mean, at least he didn't miss any extra points like Butker. And then the Dallas defense had a meltdown against Green Bay. They were doing fine early, and I don't know what happened. They just sucked. On Kimmel's side of the ball, okay, so we'll get to the grand finale, but he took Goff. I mean, whatever. Goff is, he has his good games and middle games. Metcalf was all right. Cooper was a little bit surprising. I thought he would get more points. Fournette was a little bit surprising. I don't know if he got hurt. He only finished up with 10.8, and then Connor. I mean, that really made me worry because I had a little bit of a lead going into the late afternoon games on Sunday, and then Connor. I took a nap at halftime, and Connor had 10, so ended up with 23.6. That's pretty big. And we'll go to it with 9.3, but we'll finish up with him. Judy actually started the game and then immediately got an ankle injury, which I was like, all right, that makes me feel better. Myers, whatever, the defense, whatever. But so Goder, his first catch of the Monday night game was a touchdown, and I just slammed my head on my desk. I'm like, this is not good. But McLaurin was keeping up with them. And then late in the game, Goder catches this pass, and then clearly the defense like face masked him. It was the worst face mask of the year. But when he face masked them, he fumbled. And for lucky for me in the NFL, face masks are not reviewable. So I go, oh, what a shame. So he lost 2 points. So he got points on the catch. Had he gotten those points on the catch, he would have had the lead, and I never got another point, so he would have won. But he fumbled on the catch, and then he got hurt. And now he's on IR. So
it's incredible.
Out with a fumble and a crucial moment of the game. I think the last time that happened was Chris Carson. Remember that year with the Seahawks where he twisted his knee and was out for the year and fumbled? So talk about a game where you're rooting for injuries. But, I mean, it was damn close at that point. It was going back and forth and back and forth. He went into this game with a 14-point lead and got her. And then McLaurin,
I think he had like an 85% projection to win.
It was ugly. And then McLaurin just started going off. And it was actually a very good finish. And then, I don't know, Goddard's on IR right now, so I don't know who the replacement is. But I guess we could talk about that later. But this was one of the more exciting games of the year, definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, you finally felt what it's like to be in the spider web.
Oh, I know exactly what. Have you played Till It yet, Manny?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're gonna understand. Like, it's gonna be heavily stacked in your favor, and you're gonna see one by one convenient happen to your player.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's just a horrible feeling the entire game. It's just like, what? Like it's just.
Oh no, I played him week 1, and no, wait. No, I played in week 2, and I lost 96 to 80.
Yeah.
That was my one bad week prior to this week.
You're gonna play him again.
Yeah, you're gonna
play him
again. No, but so you were projected to win 125 to 52 to 112. I mean,
it looked like it was in the bag.
Yeah. But it's just one by one. I mean, that's what happens all game long. Like one by one, every player just underperforms, and you're just like, I need just one guy to do. That
was it. That was McLaurin. He was breaking out of the web.
Yeah, but had it not been for the injury, you wouldn't have even had that. I mean, and you want to talk about but let's talk about some bench blunders here. I mean, Jeff Wilson has been a fantastic pickup, and yet you haven't been using him. What's going on there?
Well, I was just going to speak of Jeff Wilson, so I wanted to see what he had in Miami. He looks like the starter. I mean, Mustard looks like he's the backup.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, they have a bye week this week coming up, but going forward, Jeff Wilson is going to replace Patterson with the clown makeup.
Yeah, I mean, 16 and then 22, a bye, but then he gets Houston, who I think is one of the weakest run defenses.
Mm-hmm.
It might be. I'm not sure. I think the Chargers are the worst, but I mean, yeah, still, is Allen gonna ever play? I mean, it's amazing. Your uncanny ability.
Unbelievable. Holy shit.
Allen is a joke.
So what is let's see, it's only a limited.
I mean, whoever
he actually practiced today.
Yeah, he practiced his putts on the golf course. But whoever wants
to back limited sessions suggest he's in line for a questionable tag. Ooh, he's in line for a questionable tag.
Did you see his comment too?
No.
When the reporters asked him, like, okay, man, when do you feel like getting back into the game?
Mm-hmm.
He responded like, where is it? He said something like, I'm day to day right now. I think. I think it's week 11.
I mean, I remember the trust the process thing.
No, his latest comment was, I'm day to day, I think.
I think to do my job.
Yeah, I think. Oh, here we go. I'm just kind of day to day. what the leisure like laissez-faire attitude from Keenan Allen is just it's disgusting.
Yeah,
But you managed to find these.
the owner of the Chargers should be, I think I'm day to day and paying you.
You managed to find these players every year. You Michael Thomas. I mean, how many times?
Oh yeah.
Who else? I think
Every year you have these guys.
Who else did you have? You've had somebody else who was like this. Who was just
Even when I had Dalvin Cook, he was on a bitch count. Remember, he came back and didn't play, and then he came back. And I mean, what a disaster!
I don't know what it is with the hagglers, but your players haggle you.
If anybody wants to make a deal for Tyreek, I will throw in Keenan Allen for free.
I have to say though, Jeff Wilson that was a great pickup by you, and I think that has really also helped that team because now they actually have a running game.
And they can play action passes, which
They can
opens
do
up
play action pass to Tyreek. So that helps you kind of an extension as well, which makes me wonder why you want to get rid of him. But all right.
Let's just say, as a fantasy manager, I have a close eye on my team, and I know when to move people.
You were right about Josh Allen. I mean, are you going to be right about Tyreek Hill too? That guy's an animal.
Well, I'm just saying now's the time. I mean, right before the deadline, if anybody's looking for a wide receiver, there's one available.
All right.
It's just, yeah. I mean,
all right. Let's move to our final game. Man, who's interesting, Wakanda Uprising.
I know. I don't even know if he wants to be talked about in this week, where he loses to the now 3-7 team. He was projected originally to get 79.65. I mean, you want to talk about outkicking your coverage. I mean, 130.7 to 110. Woo.
I mean, Eugene wasn't he once like 4-0 at one point?
He was the champion of the 3-0 season.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. So
all right, let's go.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what has happened here? I think his fortunes have swayed with the AJ Brown / Amun Ra situation. I mean, if Ra's
also Breece Hall got hurt. He tore his ACL.
Breece Hall, that did hurt him.
That really hurt him.
But he still has Saquon and Walker the third.
Running backs aren't bad. I think Pitts has also really hurt him.
Yeah, Pitts has hurt him from the beginning.
So Hurts with 25 versus Geno Smith. Geno Smith has been an interesting pickup for hockey. He hasn't been too bad as far as fantasy points go.
He's been good.
No, he hasn't been. I will also say that over the last couple of weeks, I think that Odwin has made some very smart moves. I mean, including for this week. So I mean, clearly, maybe it's probably a little bit too little, too late. But he has built himself a decent team. I mean, first of all, Wakanda was hurt by Jonathan Taylor all season long, but now he gets 23 or 24 points in this game. So Mustard still got 18.7 in this game, by the way. So it's not like he's disappeared. Slayton's a good pickup, 18.5 points from him. I mean, decent play. I mean, Freiermuth was okay. I mean, he left nothing on the bench. No,
and then Eugene. I mean, the Hurts Brown time. I mean, there was that one game where Eugene was flirting with 200 points. He had 195 projected, like in the first, the 1:00 games. But since then, all these players have really come back down to their normal numbers. We were really high on Eugene early in the year. I mean, I think he's been 1-4 since that hot start, or 1-5 actually.
Yeah,
that hot start. So I don't really know where to put Eugene right now. I think 5 and that's a good spot for him at 5-5. I mean, does he have any help? Was there anybody on a bye or anything? I mean, he's got. I mean, anybody who has a Denver player with the Russell right now. I mean, it's tough. He sucks. Russell Wilson absolutely sucks.
I think he started all the right guys.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like, I don't think what.
he needs to address his tight end situation though. Like,
Yeah, but everybody does. There's no good tight ends in the league.
yeah,
And yet I'm running the jumbo package. But yes,
Jumbo.
yeah, I guess. I mean, besides Kelsey this year, it's been rough at tight
Yeah,
end.
the only with dynamite.
honestly, I don't. I mean, he's not. It's not that bad. I mean, I think, I'm looking at this. It's not that bad. I mean, 25 from Hurts, 22 from St. Brown. I don't even know how this adds up to 110, and that's it. I mean, I guess the Brown, only getting 1.7 really is, and Pitts. I mean, but other than that, I mean, he's still getting the performance. I guess he's just not getting the 20s that he was getting. He's getting the 10s now. We're out of players that he was getting 20s out of. And he's getting 25 out of Hurts when Hurts in the beginning of the year was getting like what? Like 35 and stuff. So, I mean, it's like these little. No, he's still getting good performances, but I feel like he was getting just a step above that, and now he's getting average performances, and with some of those better players, and then with the worst players, he's getting really bad, like 4.8 from Pitts, who's just never come on at all. I don't know. This is a shocking loss. I just don't. I did not.
No projections. I think this was our blowout of the week.
Well, we didn't do a show last week, but it would have been
an easy candidate for blowout of the week. If I saw those numbers,
yeah.
I know. Yeah, no, there's no chance that this would not have been my blowout of the week.
That's with all of hockey starters.
I know. I mean, no, no, that's his projection. I mean, his kicker had a projection of 0, ends up getting 12. I don't know what happened here.
Yeah, good point.
That's true.
But I mean, even if you add, I mean, like a normal kick, so that's 5 points, maybe, and the kicker would get. So that's what I'm saying. He's making smart moves. So clearly he saw that, the kicker over, for the Chargers was injured. He picks up this guy. I mean, he's making very intelligent moves lately.
And that's with our Chase out with an injury. When he gets Chase back, he's just going to be even more devastating. But but
he's 3-7. So
is it just an issue of just too little, too late? There's 4 games left. He has to basically win out.
Yes, and then, I mean, yeah, I mean,
and if he didn't trade away Lazard, he would have had another decent receiver.
I mean, who did he get for Lazard?
Deion Jackson.
What? I don't even remember this trade. Deion Jackson?
Yeah.
He traded I don't even remember that.
He traded Lazard for Deion Jackson. Gronky Kong is still pissed about
That's smart. He really took Madison out of his starting lineup too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it still looks like a pretty terrible team. By the way, I just think that he's
still 3-7. I mean, there's
yeah, but he's the guy that's going like a wrecking ball, trying to upset teams all along.
He's got the Hagglers this week who
going for the $7.
Yeah, who's his favorite to?
I guess if he finishes 7-7 with 7-7 with a good point total, he could technically squeak in.
Yeah, I mean, he's not officially eliminated, but he could. I mean, but I don't even think that he has the point total at all anyway to support it. Sure. But I mean, we could look at that when we look at the standings, which we will look at after the break. So.
All right.
Welcome back. As we now move to try to take a look at the standings. Well, first the transactions actually. So, were there any? I don't think that there were many transactions that were happening this week. Nothing that I really noticed.
I mean, Dr. Hockey spent a fortune.
Christian Watson paid off with
$56 for Isaiah Pacheco.
I mean, I've seen Pacheco all season long. He clearly does not warrant $56, but I guess he didn't know who would be bidding, being that the next two bidders were $6 each. I'd say that's a tad high.
I know. I don't.
Yeah.
That just seems like a lot.
And he blew the Christian Watson pool out of the water.
Wait a minute. $81 for Christian Watson? Wow. Does he have any money? Well, I'll have to look at that afterwards. But I mean, so yeah, 25 by Clever Name Pending. The finest bid 19 and 18 for Grocky Kong. Grocky Kong was all over the place. He was also trying to bid for Deshaun Watson, which actually I didn't even notice that until just now. I was gonna actually put in the bid of yeah, I mean, I wanted Watson. I thought it was 2 weeks out, so I thought it might be a little bit too early. So my original bid was just for $0, just to go get him. Or I was even considering waiting until after the draft period. And then
that's crazy. 2 people bid on a suspended player. That's...
Yeah, but he's 2 weeks away. He's already practicing with the team now. Like,
True.
I mean, I don't know what Grocky Kong. Who's his quarterback?
Lamar. I don't even know
why. Why is he even bothering? I don't know.
Unless he plans to steal away Lamar.
What?
Unless he plans to trade Lamar
in the next day. I don't know. I mean, sure, but hey, Grocky Kong, if you would like Deshaun Watson for Lamar, I will be happy to make that trade for you if you really want him. I don't know what to tell you. Call me. I mean, I clearly have quarterback problems. I've had them since Russell. I mean, I'm rolling with Garoppolo. I mean, I'm hoping that Deshaun will be an injection of something. Because I've been terrible at quarterback, and he was the only thing I could. I mean, my team is reeling right now. I'm hoping that he could maybe finish this out strong. I'm hoping he can give us a happy ending. Really nothing? Okay. Anyway. Nothing. Okay.
It's more funny that you got nothing than what you said.
No, come on.
about losing his job.
What's that?
This guy about losing his job, now all of a sudden getting uppity. Big commentary.
God, this is our worst show ever. Anyway,
it's pretty bad.
What do you want? You got 2 people.
All we need is for one of our viewers to turn this into the FCC, and 2 out of the 3 out of this podcast.
Well, on the bright side, if this will be my only job left.
Well, look at the other transactions that no one bid on.
Oh yeah, that's right. God. So
how many times has Wilson been added and dropped just by Dave Harbakin?
What's that?
You added and dropped Russell Wilson one more time, just for good luck.
he probably makes up. I don't know how many of my transactions.
It's like the 20th time this year.
I almost
started.
Dave made like 51 moves. 20 of them have Wilson.
I just keep looking at him. I'm like, I think that he's gonna be.
What is your obsession with Russell Wilson?
I just think that he's gonna be. I mean,
we're so confident in week 1 that he would have this amazing year.
I know. I just thought he was.
It just bothers you that he's been just god awful.
But I accept that he's god awful. But then I look at his schedule and I'm like, it's supposed to be. I go. I was even going to start him this week because so he's playing the Raiders this week, and the first time that he played the Raiders, I think he got 31 points. He was actually him getting 31 points is what beat the Hagglers, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing that beat the Hagglers that week. I mean, and yeah, that was his only good week. So now he's playing them again. I was gonna, I was going to keep him, but I don't have the confidence that he's going to be able to do that again. He's not going to be playing in the domes. He's going to be playing at home, so who knows what kind of weather is going to be. And I just don't try. He's just so bad. I don't care what his schedule looks like. I mean, like, all right. I mean, so he plays after this. So he plays Vegas, Carolina, Baltimore. I mean, these are all positive matchups that should be for him. Kansas City, Arizona. He should have a fantastic end of the season, but he's terrible. I mean, look at this. Against Jacksonville, he gets 15 points. I mean, like, teams that he's supposed to do well against. Like, I thought it was just like,
Indianapolis, 9 points.
9 points against Indianapolis. Like, how bad does this? I mean, like, it doesn't matter how weak the team is. He's just terrible. And like, I'll look at it and I'll see, I'll see this weak team and I'll be like, oh, he's got it. And then he just never does. He just never does.
Yeah, and then always the comments are like, "Oh, he's struggled, but he's poised for a big, for a big game."
I know, and so
it's a crappy team, and then he just stinks up the joint again.
I know. I just can't. I just can't deal with it. I was even going to start him this week because of that, but then I was just like, no, I just can't. And I needed the space. I mean, I don't think that Skronek is that great, but like on the off chance that maybe he is, I don't know. I don't know.
Down the list.
Ben Skrubnik.
Well, I'm sorry. What's that?
Ben Skrubnik.
3:36 in the morning.
What's
It used to be a very busy transaction terminal at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now it's just a haggler's out.
Oh yeah. So what? So what? Where's the?
What happened to Zach Ertz? I didn't see the injury. He's done for the year.
I didn't see the injury either, but yeah. So there's the two. Tillett Trey picked up Jawan Johnson for $31.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been pretty good. I have him in my other fantasy league.
Well, he bid $31 when nobody bid anything, so he's got to feel bad about it.
I mean, I have a tight end who already had his bye, so I'm not gonna. I would have bid on him if I didn't have a good tight end.
And he drops Taysom Hill after the bad week. Hill compiled 3 rushes for 1 yard. Wow. Okay. And then Scotty Doesn't Know picks up Washington for $7. Gronky Kong picked up the Jets defense. Okay. Lightning Rods picked up Chubba Hubbard. Interesting.
Yeah, but has he watching the Foreman Hubbard drama that's been unfolding? I think, Foreman is the guy to have on that team.
Oh yeah. Foreman is really good. He was actually underrated with Tennessee once Henry got hurt last year.
Yeah, which is why actually I think that Carolina picked him up, which is why I picked him up, which is as the handcuff, which is why I think they were able to trade away McCaffrey. I think it's like one of those circumstances, like you're starting to discover certain things. Like, for example, you could see how good Geno Smith has been and how bad Russell's been, that you start to notice maybe it was the system more than the person.
Definitely.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily more the system than the person when it came to McCaffrey, because McCaffrey is legitimately good, but I do think that the system definitely helped down there. And I still don't know what I don't know what San Francisco is doing, by the way. So like I said, I was only watching it through the app, but I don't know why they are continuing to go through Elijah Mitchell, Debo. I mean, like, it's like you have McCaffrey. Why is he running every like 5th play? I just don't. I don't know. I mean, that's also me speaking as a fantasy owner, but still kind of annoys me. Anything else of note?
Pretty much it.
I got rid of Will Lutz because the Saints offense is just pathetic.
I mean, Dalton is. I've been watching the Saints games for a while.
It's so bad.
Andy Dalton should not be. He should be benched.
Yeah.
I mean, how many? They're pitiful. He's pitiful. And I'm not saying that because he's not throwing it to Olave. I'm saying that because he gets sacked, intercepted, and fumbles.
Yeah, he's really bad.
He sucks so bad. He has no mobility, no pocket presence. I mean, Kamara has had a really great field day with him because he just dumps it off to him. I mean, Olave is actually hurting because of him. I mean, I don't even know why the Saints is a real life team trying to win and with players getting paid to do something, have this guy as their quarterback. Are they trying to lose? I mean, he sucks. Andy Dalton.
He's terrible. I mean, it's
him and Russell.
And the Commanders are actually not that bad with Heineke.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. He's probably. I mean, they're close to getting what's his name back. So we'll see how that changes things.
Oh, Wentz.
Yeah.
Wentz, but you know what?
They declared Heineke as a starter.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he defeated a team. How can you lose your job after that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the standings. I do like looking at this after the beginning of our show. The biggest blowout of the week. But nonetheless, we could move back to where you feel comfortable here at the top. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, so what's the point differential here between the Finest and the Hagglers? So we're talking about
did pick up
14 points.
What?
He's up 14 points.
15 points.
15.
Yeah, exactly. So that's nothing.
Mm-hmm. It's negligible.
So, and what's the difference between the Finest and Tillett?
A solid 140, 150. Solid 150.
Mm-hmm.
Which, can you make that up the rest of the way? It's possible.
It's very hard, though.
It's tough, though.
If me and Friedman put up 92 and 93 points the rest of the way, we're going to be at the bottom. You're not going to have to worry about first place because we're going to be in 7th or 8th or 9th. We got to put up more than 90 points.
See, the only way I can be out of second place after this week is if I lose, Tillett and the Hagglers win big, and I lose with a low point total. Right?
Whether you could be lower than second, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear you're going to get the bye. I mean, unless something.
Yeah, I gotta win 1 or 2 more games at least.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty clear he's going to get the bye. I mean, he's in great position right now to get a bye. I think Tillett makes things interesting. If Tillett was like 6-4, then he'd be. I mean, let's just say he's got the bye. But he could fit. Either one of us can finish the odd man out in that thing. I mean, look at our backing. If he keeps when you've won 3 in a row, you could slide into first or second very easily.
Yeah, that cup injury is just killer though. Like I don't. It's going to be tough for him to get into that position. I know you're not giving up, which you shouldn't, but it's tough.
I say he easily gets back into the mix if he has Tyreek Hill.
I'll trade you Russell Wilson for him.
You'll pick him back up and
exactly. I'll one more time. I think the Hagglers easily take over first place if they get Russell Wilson as their.
Yeah. First one out of the playoff.
I'm so curious as to
who's going to get the 3 playoff spots out of that 5-5 logjam.
That's a good question. That's now this logjam at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 5-5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Whalers gets it.
I do. I think so. I think it's Whalers, Gronky Kong, and Eugene. If I have to be a betting man.
All right. So you think Eugene manages to stay in the hunt?
I do. I think he has a decent team. I think there are just a couple players that are just not performing on this team. Like AJ Brown has had like either stellar weeks or terrible weeks. He's kind of hit or miss. And then Pitts has been terrible. And then that Breece Hall injury was terrible for him. But I think like his team is better than the Lightning Rods and Nick and Jamie.
Ooh, I mean, Nick and Jamie, they were in 4th place, I think, last week.
Yeah.
4th place.
I'm actually surprised by the Lightning Rods. I think that they continued, they're just under the radar completely. but they just continue to like win, kind of like, you know, I don't know, like I didn't even think that they would necessarily beat Nick and Jay. I don't know. Dave, look, man, I think, you know, when you get into this, you have to also kind of look at the schedule. I mean, it's so. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. The 1603ers have a brutal stretch.
Yeah, I mean, you played all your easy games at the beginning of the season, and now, like Manny said, this is a tough spot to lose a cup.
No. I did not play my easy games at the beginning of the season. No, not at all.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I've played my easy games over this winning streak. I've had by far, I think, the toughest schedule of anybody in this league. I've had to play, you know, the finest. I've had to play Gronky Kong and Dave Secret Crust twice. You know, then again, when you look at the person who's had the most points scored against him, it's Munda, 1,300 more than, which is well more than anybody. But I just, it's gonna be really interesting and really close. Man, without like looking at the exact upcoming schedule, I don't know. I mean, does anybody think that Tillett doesn't make the playoffs?
He makes the playoffs with that record, but
so what is there left? 4 games?
He'll lose all 4 games.
But I could tell you, if Tillett was in that 5-5 logjam, there's no way I think he makes the playoffs.
No, I would agree, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I think that he makes it just because I think he just is going to make it on
record. Yeah,
on record. He needs 1 win, basically,
and it could be this week against Nick and Jamie, who've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah. And if he gets it this week, by the way, I think Nick and Jamie are really almost done. You know,
I agree.
Well, it's hard to say that because conveniently enough, none of the 5-5 teams play each other. So potentially all of
this week, or just in general, or like for the rest of the season.
No, this week. So all the 5-5 teams could be 5-6, which in that case it doesn't count at all.
Wow, that's something. But
wow, that's crazy. Because if all those teams are 5-6, that means Clever Name Pending and Wakanda are kind of back in the mix. Yeah, because they'd be 4-7.
Yeah,
they could be. Oh, they would be if they. Yeah,
I would take for a crazy race.
That'd be insane.
It's already pretty insane. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I think that the top 3 teams here are going to make it. I still don't know. I mean, look, I mean, point totals are going to matter. I mean, I just think it's so tough. I mean, I certainly am going. I think that Scotty Doesn't Know is going to make it just on reputation, but like, he's also has a 3-game winning streak, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
As do the Hagglers.
His point total is not really not great.
No, I mean he's second to the bottom.
Yeah.
Gronky Kong has a 4-game winning streak.
And his point total is slightly better. So, I mean, Dave Secret Crush has the most points in the league. So he's probably going to make it.
Oh, yeah, I think he will.
Oh, yeah, that's a humongous tiebreaker. I think Eugene is definitely going to.
So I would say Eugene, Gronky Kong, and Whalers. I think those are the 3 teams that, to me, are favored to win. Although the Lightning Rods kind of fly under the radar. Who does he play this week? I think I play him, right? Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, and then if you, if you go forward, let's see. So then in week 13, so then we have the restart of everything. Or no, sorry, week 12 we start, again. So the Hagglers play Clever Name Pending. But Dave Secret Crush plays Zamunda, so Dave Secret Crush is most likely going to get a win there, you would think. Lightning Rods and Tillett.
That could be a huge game.
Gronky Kong versus Scotty Doesn't Know. Which, I mean, so basically.
Get your popcorn ready for that one.
Right, so, I mean, one of the two is going to eliminate each other, like there, essentially, right? And then Wakanda versus Nick and Jamie. I mean, so week 12 is going to be pretty good.
And you versus Manny. I mean, that's going to be a heavyweight matchup.
Which one?
You versus Manny next week.
Sure. Week 13, it's the 1603s versus Gronky Kong. That's going to be a huge game. Hackettstown's Finest versus
Wow, Whalers and Eugene,
and Whalers and Eugene. I mean, the Hagglers get Zamunda, so Which, by the way, is part of what I was talking about when I say so. The Finest, they're going to play the Spiderweb. They're going to play the 1603ers. And meanwhile, I mean, what do the Hagglers have? They have Zamunda and something else. So, the point totals are going to,
Yeah, I had Bowtie. Well, I mean, Doctor.
Yeah, you have Clever Name Pending. You have Zamunda, and then we'll see what the last one. But I think in the long run, you gotta fear the Hagglers more than you know.
Yeah.
Oh, finale against the Whalers.
Oof, that's gonna be good. So yeah, I mean,
is week 13 the last week of the regular season?
Week 14 is so then the final week of the season. Dave's Secret Crush plays the 1603ers. The Finest play Gronky Kong. Oof, you're a little rival there. If I see any shenanigans, I better not see any friendship shenanigans that are happening there to get your little buddy in the playoffs.
No.
Hagglers versus Scotty Doesn't Know. I mean, I don't know what's happening there, but a 55-point projection. I'm imagining some people are on a bye.
Oh my God, the whole team is on a bye.
What?
This whole team is on a bye.
Well, yeah, but
there's still buys on week 14. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Big buys.
I don't know. Whatever. We'll look at it then.
A lot can change between now and then.
Week 14, better have. If we don't have Keenan Allen by week 14, I'm just going to drop this.
Well, there's some popcorn matchups coming up though.
Yeah, I mean, I think really it's week. I think the Gronky Kong versus Scotty Doesn't Know, and the Dave Secret Crush versus. I mean, Scotty Doesn't Know right now has 3 huge. I mean, he's got a bunch of really important games that are coming up. So I don't know. Looking at that, I don't know if he actually, makes it. If he does, he earns it. Certainly, and he will. I don't even. That's the thing. If he could win these games, I don't think he's necessarily going to need the points as much. I mean, because he'll get the wins over the teams that he needs to win, that he needs to beat.
Yeah. I mean, first and second is kind of it's a wash, right? But because you both get the bye. But
I mean, second.
I think the Hagler schedule is way easier than the Finest for sure.
Absolutely, but also first is important because you're going to play the lower ranked team when you get to the semifinal.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter.
I think it matters more than any other center competition. What are you kidding me? You don't think that playing the lower seeded team matters? By the way, I think there's only been 1 year, if I'm correct, that the first place team hasn't won the championship.
Has the second place player ever won the championship?
I don't. Well, I know season 1 they didn't. Season 2 they didn't. Because season, I really, it would have been a long time. So season 3, I mean, who ended up winning? Shauna, no, she was first place that whole season. Season after that, I think LeVar won that, and then he was first place, right? Yeah, he was first place that year. After, I mean, I know the Hagglers, when they won, they certainly were not in first place.
No, 5th place.
Yeah, so this was yeah. I mean, it lists you as first, like in this, but like you were 7 and 6. I think you were 6th place or something, right? 7 and 6?
We went
6 because you had less points than the.
Right. Yeah. So that was the first time that the first place team didn't win. Of course, it's me. And then so then 2018 was Eugene. I think he was. He was 11 and 2, so he was the first place team that year. Pretty sure I was first place the year that I won it. I mean, I can't imagine that I was. Yeah, I was dominating that year, right? I mean, you and I had the same record, but we edged you out in points. So yeah. What else? So then 20. Zamunda was Nick. Nick was not first place. In fact, Eugene might have been the.
But he wasn't second.
He wasn't second either. 8-5. Wow. I don't think the second place team has ever won.
Wow. Interesting.
And
Interesting.
then last year, what place were you in when you?
I was in 5th.
8-6. Well, last year, terrible record. So you were 1, 2.
Everyone had a terrible record last year. Holy shit.
So
the buys were both 9-5. That's insane.
Yeah. So you were 8-6, but you had less than
Yeah, so I was 5th.
Than the final fuck the fantasy gods team. Yeah, I'm sure that they really appreciate that. I'm sure they're gonna wait. I actually take it back, seeing that was his team name. I don't think that they are going to allow him to win that.
Yes, I was 5th, so never a second place team.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe it's a curse.
That's great, because guess what place we're in?
And guess what place I think that you'll finish?
Yeah, you're second, but with 4 weeks left in the year.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the schedule certainly says that it's a little lighter, but like you said, Dr. Hockey is already starting to get my concern. The fact that the Blizzard game got moved into a dome definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's take a look at these games.
Yeah, take a look at the Hagglers game first. I'm curious there because we're talking about this schedule.
The original projection was 102 or 112 to 102. So already he's boosted himself up and made it a 51-49 game with 21 points from Watson, who he paid. What did he pay? 80 something.
$81 definitely paid off there.
Yeah, for 21 points. But I mean, it's yeah. So let's look at this. So he's got Cousins, who's been average. Slayton versus Detroit. When is that game, the Allen game, being played?
It's still being played at the same time slot. It's just in Detroit. So Sunday at 1.
So Detroit is playing in
New York, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say they're gonna play like one after. Okay. So, all right. I mean, Allen still ended up getting 21 points out of that game.
With how many picks though? How many picks did he have? He's had like 5 picks in the last 2 games.
Sure. I mean, but he's still getting,
picks. Okay. In the last 3 games, he's thrown 6 interceptions.
Well. So Lave, if the Red Rocket is still going, I don't know if he makes those projections against. I mean, the Rams have been not good, but still. McLaurin, I think, against Houston is a good matchup. I think Slayton in the Detroit game is good. I think he's going to get good numbers out of that. I mean, if Taylor's back and then Pacheco, I mean, what's going on there? Is Hilaire injured or something?
It's just, I mean, all the people are high on Pacheco right now. Hilaire's basically a non-factor.
So you're going with Singletary. Interesting. What has he been?
No, Singletary, I mean, last week he got 15, but, the last couple of games he's been subpar. Wilson's on a bye, so
you got
Wilson's back. He's immediately being slotted into the lineup.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, this is a lineup you pretty much have to go with, I would think.
I mean, the only other choice is Patterson, and based on his 3-point clown performance, I don't want to risk it.
I mean, you have Drake. He's been...
Yeah, that's another thing we got to look at. Gus the Bus Edwards. If Edwards is out of action, Singletary might get yanked for Drake. We'll see.
Any concern that Damian Harris is coming back, that he'll eat into Ramondre, or no?
No. Ramondre is clearly... Look at his numbers.
Yeah, he's been really good.
No, I know. Mm-hmm.
That's with Harris back in action.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, Harris didn't play last week.
Oh, he was out.
The Jets have a really good defense.
Yeah.
How many points did Ramondre score against the Jets?
Jets earlier this year and got 21. So he's all right. He's solid.
Okay, yeah.
The Ramon Stevenson lineup going forward could be, serviceable at running back. It's not the best, but they should get their points.
Any
Do you regret not doing the Ramondre and Allen for Burrow and Henry?
I don't know was Henry ever on the table?
Yeah, because I wanted Josh Allen.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's get back to the game. Somebody who's been disappointing, not because of his skill set, but because of Russell, is the tight end Dulcich. I mean, I don't know. I still believe in this guy. He had a horrid week last week, but at some point, Russell has to do something against somebody. Maybe it's the Raiders.
And then in that Jacksonville, what gave him that 12 points in that London game was like one drive.
I know. You can see what he can do on one drive. He's I consider him to be like a Pitts or a Kittle, like very athletic. Wilson is so terrible.
Isn't one of his receivers injured, though?
Jerry Jeudy is questionable with an ankle injury, so that might help matters, but the Denver offense is atrocious.
What's the weather supposed to be like? It's supposed to be sunny with a high of 47. Yeah.
And then I don't care if Allen gets the start. On my team, he's benched after all he's done. He can sit.
Who?
Keenan Allen. He got in a
also, I mean, what's his name got injured in Arizona also.
Zach Ertz is out. So, I mean,
not only Zach Ertz, but isn't there somebody else, one of the receivers?
DeAndre Hopkins is questionable.
Who?
DeAndre Hopkins is questionable.
Is he? I mean,
he's always questionable, so he's probably going to play, but the coverage is going to roll to Hopkins.
There was somebody else. Keep talking.
No, I think that's it. So Moore's surprised me the last couple of weeks because the backup, I don't even know. This backup guy, I don't know what's wrong with Kyler Murray, but Colt McCoy's been the starting quarterback. And he's still gotten 18 points with Colt McCoy. So it's a last-ditch effort to play on Monday night because I don't think hockey has anybody going on Monday night, so we'll see. We'll see how many points we're trailing by, and hopefully Moore and Gould can make up the difference. And then the Dallas defense, I'm starting to be a little bit concerned about.
Aren't they playing that game in Mexico City also?
Is it?
Yeah, the Arizona-San Francisco game is Mexico City.
Mexico City. Oh, my
wasn't the last game that was played there 49-49 or something?
Yeah.
Something
well, that was a couple years ago. That was
Rams.
Rams Chiefs.
Yeah.
Was it Rams Chiefs? I thought it was Chargers Chiefs.
No, it was Rams.
Was it Rams? Okay. But yeah.
All right, then hockey's got on the other side. Jonathan Taylor under Jeff Saturday, who we won't say anything controversial about. I mean, it looks like they've returned to the running game, so he's really, really come on.
Also, Philly's run defense isn't that good.
I think Pacheco is all right.
All the people who check into this podcast are like, why did only the second half of the broadcast run this week? What happened? Technical difficulties. I don't know.
Fryermuth, I've told Dr. Hockey all season long, he's been a decent tight end. I mean, he's had his ups and downs. He's still consistent though on that offense. Valdez-Scantling
is pretty good
with a questionable tag. Mark, I think Hardman is injured and Juju is injured, so this could be a problem. Valdez-Scantling could get some extra looks, but he's injured too, so he might not even play. Which, in case Dr. Hockey, if that doesn't happen, if Valdez-Scantling is out, he's going to have to go with either Akers, which I'm not really worried about, or Madison, which I'm not really worried about. So he takes a significant downturn if Scantling can't go.
Yeah, but it looks like so. First of all, it's an illness, and then second of all, he returned to practice on Thursday. So.
All right, so he could be listed as good in the final injury report. So that could be a problem. Dr. Hockey, I'm not looking past him for whatever reason. He seems to really gear himself up for I don't understand. He has this grudge that he bears from the BHL season where I shaped my ass in his face. It was 25 years ago. It was nothing I barely remember it. But apparently it was a life-changing event for him. So whenever he played, even if it was in basketball or soccer, he really, really geared himself up to beat the crap out of me. So, and he did it last year in fantasy. So he has this lifelong grudge. It's a rivalry I didn't even know about, apparently. But
Yeah,
he's
yeah. I mean, you find it. Yeah, you have how many rivalries against other teams in this league that they don't know about?
he's really loaded up this
From
week.
what?
Looks like he came to play. I don't. Well, the Gillisley game, that's definitely a legitimate, and knocking me out of the playoffs, I'd say there's legitimate rivalry material there.
I think rubbing your ass in somebody's face is also pretty legit.
I mean, we in college having fun. What about when you swept them? Like beating them like 9-0 every single game. That doesn't leave a mark.
Well, I mean, he beat me in the championship in season 2, so he got even.
Dr. Hockey has a one-sided vendetta against me. I mean, I have no problems with the guy. It's fine. I mean, he obviously he's motivated to play this week. Very alarming and concerning on my part.
I have problems with the guy, with his reliability.
Well, but that's outside fantasy football.
But I think we all do.
I think this project. I mean, the Dr. Hockey got off to a great start on Thursday, which does put into effect the Thursday curse. I don't think the opposing team has to have anybody playing in the game. Also, I think it's just you just have to have somebody who did poorly or did good on Thursday, and usually the opposite result.
I still think you have this in the bag. I like your matchups. I like Allen against Cleveland, especially coming off that rough loss. I think they're going to be good, Buffalo, this week.
I don't want to be Coach Ken Friedman, but Hackettstown Hagglers have a lot of problems right now. They look good.
Look, I think Olave is a problem. I think Dulcis is a problem.
Yeah. Singletary is a problem. There's a lot of problems right now.
Yeah, there's some holes over there.
I think Lauren will have a really good game against Houston.
What?
I don't like Cousins against Dallas for him.
No, I think Slayton will do well, though. I think Taylor will do well. I mean, I don't know why everybody's talking about Pacheco, but whatever. I think this is going to be a pretty close game.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Watson already getting...
Cincinnati against the Pittsburgh defense also, and they've been pretty bad. Folk against the Jets.
It comes down to what Taylor can do versus what Allen and
Folk against the Jets, by the way,
can do.
21 points last time that they played each other.
Oh. And he got 17 against Indianapolis.
And Gould, didn't he miss an extra point this last week? I know that he definitely did.
I don't know. I just like San Francisco's offense going forward. They have a lot of weapons, but not that. But Garoppolo keeps them into the field goal range because he sucks. They can move the ball between the 20s, but I think they struggle in the red zone.
Right. Yeah. Well, same with New England.
Fortunately, they have Gould who sucks at making the extra points. So it doesn't matter if you're close if you can't hit it.
Yeah,
but sure.
Well, they're not going to score touchdowns, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, this game will be close. I'm going with the Hagglers, though, and I think you can edge them out.
But it's going to be a hell of a lot closer than...
It is, yeah, especially with the 21 that Watson got today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the Hagglers, but only because of the Thursday curse.
It's a real thing. I can't explain it. It's actually a real thing. I can't remember the last time a team did well on Thursday and won.
Yeah, I know. But that's the only reason why. Otherwise, I think I actually probably would go with Wakanda, maybe. Just because I know how motivated he is to beat you. But
no, he's very motivated. It's just some phantom motivation.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go. So that's one game that's been played. We should go over the games that have been played. So we can go with the finest first against the Lakers.
This is right here. Derrick Henry matching Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happy with the Henry 27.36.
But the Thursday curse, I'm already
going to curse, but
it's true. It's true.
But it can't apply because both players did even.
I don't think that. No, but I mean, 27 for a running back versus 23 for a quarterback. I actually think that Rodgers underperformed and Henry overperformed.
I mean, does that put him in the curse category?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Well, Rodgers, performed, but yeah, I absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You're wowed by you look at the Henry 27, you're like, wow. Whereas you look at the Rodgers and you're like, whatever, 23.
Yeah.
I definitely put this in the curse category. Not to mention the stuff that was said at the outset of the broadcast. The bragging.
Just stating facts. So
I'm just stating the facts that I think that you're going to lose this week.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Friedman.
I like my matchups this week. Burrow against Pittsburgh, and then the two first with Boyd. I'm happy that Buffalo game got moved to Detroit. I think that'll help Davis, but I mean, it will also help Diggs. But it allows me to put Davis in there to kind of counteract those points, hopefully. I was gonna put Juju in if he could go. Davis is very hit or miss, but he did have a good week against Minnesota last week. So, and I'm expecting a bounce back performance from Buffalo. Jamal Williams. I mean, is Swift playing this week? I mean, Swift is constantly hurt. So,
I mean, I think Welsh has him in the lineup, right?
yeah, but Williams has even got his he's had some of his higher scoring weeks even when Swift's been in the lineup. Because I feel like he gets more of the goal line carries.
That's a determination you're going to have to make.
Yeah, Kelsey. I mean, he'll get his 20 against the Chargers. That's a pretty good matchup. Sanders. I mean, he hasn't been that good.
Oh, your buddy, the Sanders 20.
Yeah, he hasn't been getting 20 recently, and it's been pissing me off. But
certainly is not. You got 1/4.
Yeah, I know. But against Indianapolis, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll play him. If Juju is healthy, I might consider going with him, but it just it's tough going with so many Chiefs, Kelsey and Juju. But I mean, I'll think about it. I might also put Ayuk in.
I mean, so I think that he's going to be hurting at running back with Montgomery. Ever since Justin Fields loves to run it now. I mean, right. Pittman, I don't know, Diggs.
Well, which quarterback is starting for Indy? Is it
Ryan's back.
What?
Ryan's back?
Yeah, it's Ryan as of now. So yeah. So I think Diggs. I mean, Pittman will he'll get the numbers. He'll be fine. I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to Davis, how he's gonna do.
Pierce against Washington. Washington actually has a very good defensive line, and they're pretty stout against the run. So even though Pierce has been good, I like that he's going up against Washington.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about picking up the Washington defense, which I think the Whalers got.
He did. He bid $7 on it.
Yeah. Which was a good pickup.
Hawkinson. I mean.
Yeah, I mean that Hawkinson has kind of pissed me off because he's gotten a lot of Thielen's targets.
Yeah, definitely.
I
don't know. I mean, I think his biggest weakness is going to be Montgomery in this game. I mean, really depends on what Gabe Davis does.
Yeah.
And Sanders, I think that's what it comes down to for you. What's the deal with Tony? I haven't even. Is it because
it depends if Schuster and Hardman if they play.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, Hardman is not going to play, but if Schuster and what's the other guy's name? Valdez Scanling, if those guys play. So we'll see.
I mean, it's a close game. I mean. I think
I have the edge at tight end and RB2, so but I think he has the edge at receiver.
Yeah. I think you have good matchups, especially for Burrow.
Well, first of all, I think the Philly's going to rebound after their embarrassing loss to Washington, so they're going to whip the shit out of the Colts. So maybe they get something in garbage time. Diggs go up against Ward, who's Cleveland's best defender, so his numbers might be down.
I'm actually worried about Cincinnati against Pittsburgh. Now that Pittsburgh got Bosa back,
Pittsburgh got TJ.
Defense is much better.
Yeah, TJ Watt's back for the Steelers, and he's a force.
Yeah, TJ Watt. It's not Bosa. Bosa's on the Chargers. Yeah, it's TJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean, and that line is obviously Cincinnati's biggest weakness is their line.
Exactly. So I might not even
towards mixing a lot of looks and touches. So you may be worried about Joe Burrow a little bit.
I am. I actually think Pittsburgh wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I don't know. This is a good game.
it's a good game.
I actually find myself in the unenviable position of rooting for you, certainly, because I like to see any 5-5 team lose.
Despite my trash talking.
All that matters is who's the champ. I don't care about anything else.
True.
You could have a great record as long as you lose at the end. I will sacrifice it for this week.
This is really too close to call right now.
Yeah, it's close.
I don't know. It's a coin flip. It's 50-50. I don't see either team really having that. Maybe if Manny gets the twofers from Burrow to Boyd, that'll be the difference.
Yeah, but if they do poorly, then that could also make the difference that nothing happens there. I'll go with
I actually think Kelsey and the Philly defense. I think that's what kind of may turn it in my favor.
He's got San Francisco's defense, though. I mean, they're pretty good, and Arizona's not that great.
Boy, I don't think Murray's even playing.
Yeah, you got McCoy, and you got an injured Ertz. You got a lot of, and you're in Mexico City. You don't think there's going to be turnovers galore there?
That's true.
I think the defenses match up. I just think it's a very even game. This is a tough one. I think
we'll put our back on the hot seat. There's going to be more turnovers than empanadas.
That's okay, right?
That's okay. I think that was put the rabbit back up there just to cover yourself.
Yeah, we better put up the rabbit just in case.
Okay. Go with the fun.
Okay, now make your joke.
I don't have a rivalry with the Finest, so I want him to beat the Lightning Rods. That'll knock him out of the playoffs. That'll be nice.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't like
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a rivalry with the Finest, right? I have nothing against.
Well, I think Gaza should be rooting for the Lightning Rods here.
Absolutely, he should be rooting for him. But it's not. It's who you think is going to win.
Exactly.
Who you want to win.
Right.
I mean, if it's who I want to win. Ugh, yeah.
I mean, it's a very close game. I am nervous for it.
Yeah, at this point, honestly, I other than the game against me, I'm happy to have the Finest win. You're already factored into the the playoff picture. So keep beating down everybody else. That would be great.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm certainly rooting for you this week.
Yeah.
I think Montgomery. That's going to be the difference. I'll pick you to win, and a close one. All right, moving on.
All right,
one more game, which is my game against Scotty Doesn't Know, that has a score already. So Lazard and Jones finished with 10 and 14 respectively. The original projection was 122.32. It drops to 120.44. I don't think that this is honestly, they basically pretty much met their projection. I don't think you could make anything. I don't think you make heads or tails out of the Thursday curse or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were just below it.
On average, they did what was expected of them, so that's not curse worthy.
Yeah, it's all
After this Andrews situation, he seems to be going down the Keenan Allen route.
So the thing is, it's fine if he does. I don't mind. My problem is when they play him and then he gets re-injured. Just sit him. That's okay. I'm more concerned about the Kmet injury right now because Cole Kmet has been fantastic throughout this. So first of all, you have Justin Fields in this game, okay? Now, I know that he gets a lot of points running, but if Komet gets in there, I mean, he's been throwing the touchdowns to him, and I can counteract a lot of what's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
And Mooney also, by the way, is in there, can counteract anything. What?
That's right. I see your moves now.
Yeah, I know. You've been making fun of my team the whole time. But yes, there's a reason why we're playing this. So his quarterback, who's been getting all these points, is playing against Atlanta. He's gonna have a big game. So I'm trying to take as many points from that game as I can. If Komet is not playing, then that causes a huge problem. And by the way, that could actually affect the finest game, because then you're talking about maybe Montgomery gets some points. I don't know. I actually feel, I mean, Garoppolo against Arizona, I just have to wait out the 2 weeks until I get a real quarterback. Myers, I mean, last time he played the Jets, he got 21 points. I think that he should do all right, I hope. Foreman and McCaffrey, I think, will be solid. I mean, yeah, it really comes down to the Andrews problem. I mean, obviously the Cup injury hurts. I mean, there's no question that the Cup. So here's the thing: there's no question that the Cup injury hurts, but you have to understand. My entire season, I have never had the three big players that I anticipated, or well, certainly you can count four because Russell sucks. But other than him, the big three have never all been healthy in one game. They just haven't. So yes, the Cup injury hurts immensely, but I've done what I've done so far without all three going at any one time. So I just gotta hope that McCaffrey and like, if Andrews also goes down and likely doesn't get to play, then it becomes an issue. But I've been playing with two of them the whole time. So like, yes, you cannot, Skronik is not going to replace Cup, directly, at least, I don't think. But it's not like what I haven't been dealing with all season long anyway.
I mean, Whalers is on a roll, rolling up 160. I mean, he might not hit that total this week, but he's he's back on the map.
He's absolutely back on the map. Now, part of his problem is Kittle has not been doing anything, especially since McCaffrey's got there. So, I mean, he got 12 the first week that he was there, I think. Then he had the bye, then he had 3 last week. It's obvious that Kittle is kind of the man out there. It seems, at least.
I mean, with Bo and Ayuk and McCaffrey, I mean, there's too many mouths to feed, and then not a good person with the spoon. Garoppolo.
Exactly. So I think that 12 is a high projection for him. I mean, like, I actually feel, I mean, despite the projections and everything else, I feel if this team can go, I feel reasonably, I feel okay about it. It's not ideal. I mean, look, Jefferson has the toe injury. But he says he feels fine. It looks like he's going to play. That's fine. But he's playing Dallas, who's a tough defense. I don't know what's happening with, with Swift, but I guess he's going to play, It seems to be that way. I mean, there's no indication that he's injured or anything else. Ankle, practiced full on Thursday, so he's not on the report. But he's only gotten 8 and 2. It seems like Williams actually is doing better. I mean, Gibson, he got 14 last week. I don't know. He's vulnerable in this game. He's vulnerable, and then if his obviously his strongest point has been Fields. I mean, the whole run that he's been on has been with Justin Fields. I mean, who's been putting up ridiculous numbers.
Look at those numbers. Whew.
I mean, 43, 48, 30. I mean, the last few weeks.
Those are Allen numbers.
Yeah. So if I could at least counteract, but then you look at Komet. I mean, 23 and 22. I mean, it can if I could take the points away from the one person that's really starting to generate the points from him, and if Jefferson can be held down, and Kittle doesn't get to his projection, gets another 3-point game or whatever else, I mean, right there. I mean, yeah. I mean, just if you look at the projections itself, my projections at 109. But all right, take away like 10 points from Kittle from that projection. That gets him down to 110, and it's a yard here or there that makes the difference. That's how I'm looking at this game.
Okay. There's no other way to look at it. I mean, the Cup injury is definitely going to affect your team going forward.
I mean, yeah, but we're still okay at wide receiver. I mean, look, I mean, Myers has been great. I think that he's, he has that. I mean, Peoples-Jones, don't sleep on him either, by the way. 11, 12, 14. I mean, he may even... What?
With Watson, those numbers are just going to go up.
Exactly. And I'll be able to get 2 firsts out of those, hopefully. Like down the home stretch. I mean, honestly, I mean, like, look, Peoples-Jones will go in if Andrews or Komet or whatever ends up happening. But I kind of want he's been sitting out because of the weather in Buffalo, but now that it's in Detroit, and seeing what Jefferson, by the way, did to Buffalo, I don't know. Maybe Jones gets Peoples-Jones gets in there.
I think you're undercounting how bad Brisket is. He's horrid.
He is horrid, but still, with him being horrid, he still gets these numbers, which is double-digit numbers and whatever. Like.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I mean, just barely. I mean, barely double digits.
Yeah, but all he has to do is match him with Lazard's 10.
Yeah, all right. Lazard had a subpar week.
I mean, Foreman and McCaffrey have been pretty solid.
I mean, after this week, do you drop Mooney? Is he just because the Whalers has Fields type of week?
I mean, very possibly. I wouldn't say Isaiah likely, but I would say possibly. Mm-hmm. Isaiah possibly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Foreman's been benefiting for Chuba Hubbard being out. I don't know if he's coming back, but his numbers should be pretty solid.
And he's playing Baltimore, who's one of the weakest run defenses, or they're one of the weakest pass defenses.
That's very dicey right now.
What?
It's obviously, the tight end situation is very dicey right now. That's where
that's where this whole game, that's what it rides on.
Mm-hmm.
If I can go with the jumbo package, I feel pretty confident in this game.
I'm gonna sign off. I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, we could tell.
Yeah, great.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see you.
All right, have a safe trip.
Thanks.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, I mean,
right now, I think it's 50-50 because of the Whalers met his projections. I think you're taking a humongous gamble here. It could pay off big for you, Harbakin, but right now I see it's very close right now. Too close to. It's another one of those too close to calls.
I mean, look, I always pick my opponent, and I will. I'm just, and I'm certainly going to pick the Whalers.
I think. Whalers is one. Both of you on hot winning streaks. It's.
Yeah, we've won 3 in a row.
Right now, I give it to Whalers because of how hot Fields is playing. It depends on if Komet is in there. If Komet is out, definitely Whalers. But even if he's in, just the rushing yardage that Fields generates, I think a slight edge right now to the Whalers. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that it's a perfectly reasonable assessment. I mean, look, I certainly think if you're picking this game, all logic says that the Whalers wins this. I mean, look, it's a 60-40 projection. I mean, he should win this game. He's hot. I mean, this is everything is going against us right now. There's no reason why you pick us logically.
Yeah.
I'm just holding on with my, fingernails on the chalkboard, like, nah, as I'm being dragged down into the muck. But I think it's obvious that you pick Whalers here.
Yeah, I'm gonna a slight edge to the Whalers. I think, and all of those teams, all those 5-5 teams could be 6-5, and then you would be 6-5. It'd be a 6-5 mess.
Yes. Yeah.
You'd have like 7 teams that are 6-5.
Exactly. No, I know, and I fully anticipate that I'm going to be dragged back into it. I just don't. Look, I'm. You see what I have to work with here. Then I'm putting it together as best as I can. But it's tough. I think I certainly would be confident if I was Whalers.
Mm.
All right.
I would be, but the start on Thursday would have me slightly concerned because whatever like overwhelming edge he might have had is now become marginalized, and now it's like more 50-50.
I still think that he's got
Each Fields to really have a big game,
and Fields will.
And defense is horrific.
What is that?
Atlanta's defense is absolutely horrific.
I know, which is why I think he's absolutely going to have a big game there, which is why I desperately need other Bears in that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the coaching that I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think and if Whalers doesn't have Fields, I think it's pretty clear that I would put in Peoples-Jones in this game.
Yes.
I mean, and he might be in this game anyway based on injuries. I mean, if Komet's out, certainly you put, either Andrews or Likely, whoever's playing, up in the tight end, and then Peoples-Jones gets moved up, the flex. So, I mean, that's the other thing. We're waiting to find out what happens. But edge to the Whalers all the way around. We just need things to absolutely break our way. But on paper, absolutely, he's the favorite.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Gronky Kong versus the Zamunda Lions.
So Zamunda, basically, I think the ship is sailed for him. And he's got some issues now with people on buys to make matters even worse.
So he'll put in Dalton. I mean, here's the thing.
That's an L right there.
Right. So he's going to put in Dalton. So the projection currently is 124.07 to 79.19. Add Dalton's what?
Yeah, if you put in Dalton, you can add 0. So it's still going to be the same.
Right, so add 16 points, so that's 96, and then so Waddle is on a bye.
So he'll have to either put in Pickens or Debo up to the wide receiver spot.
I mean, I'd put in Pickens.
It's slim pickings for Nick at this point.
In which case, you still pick Gronky Kong.
Oh, yeah. Gronky Kong in a runaway in this one. Yeah. And this Dr. Hockey, misleading 79. This is 79's a gift.
Yeah, I know. I think this is my lock of the week here, pretty much.
Yeah, we're looking at 1-10.
Yeah, and you're looking at another 6-5. Everybody's just moving up.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on up like the Justin Jeffersons.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could do not even worth analyzing. Let's just give this one to Gronky.
I mean, so DeAndre Hopkins is still, didn't practice. I mean, that could hurt him, but he's... Curtis Samuel, he's still questionable. I mean, Shin was limited. I mean, if he doesn't have anybody that goes, I mean, all these guys are injured. I mean, he's got Gus the Bus. We'll see what happens with that. He's got some injury questionables that are happening here. That's the only thing that could derail this. Devonta Smith was limited.
Yeah, I mean, Hopkins is going to have the extra day because it's Monday night. I mean... If he can't go, that would be fantastic for Rondale Moore. But I think he's going to be in there.
Well, what's his injury?
It's a hamstring.
Thursday due to a hamstring.
It's a Keenan Allen injury.
I don't know. His status will be one to watch closely to ensure he isn't in danger. I mean, so I don't know. We'll see.
Gronky kind of going with the jumbo package with the Higbee and Schultz. That's interesting.
I think Higbee is actually a very smart. Because I do think that Higbee is going to get a lot of the Cooper Cup underneath stuff.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be a beneficiary of that injury. And I mean, what has Higbee done lately? I mean, he got 15 last game after he was out. So I really think that Higbee is a smart play, and then Schultz has been pretty good too. So I actually think him going with the jumbo packages, and given the clear injury situation he has anyway. But I think that it's the smart move here. And I think we have another team that moves to 5 and 6. I mean 6 and 5. So, all right. That brings us to Nick and Jamie versus Tillett Trey team. Can we get another 6 and 5 team? Can I get a name? Man,
that would be very interesting. Are they going to fall victim to the spider? Let's take a look at this one.
I mean, it's not a spider projection right now. It's 109 to 104. I mean, normally a spider projection is way bigger of a gap. This is not much of one. So Kyler Murray, is he even going to play?
I mean, even the backup's injured with a knee.
Hamstring was limited at Thursday's practice. Same can be said for Colt McCoy.
I mean, why even play the game? You're going to have no Zach Ertz, no DeAndre Hopkins, no Kyler Murray, no Colt McCoy. Who's even going to play? The Wildcat with Connor?
I don't know. Which would certainly benefit Tillett Trey. And, by the way, they'll probably hand it off anyway, which means that Connor will do pretty decently, which plays into the Spider's hands.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lamb will have a decent day. Higgins.
Now, what is Joe Mixon going to do for an encore after his bye week and his 55-point monster performance against Pittsburgh? We'll have to see about that.
I think he'll do fine. What has Carter been doing? So,
they're playing. I don't give them much against New England. Maybe after that.
Garrett Wilson. I mean, he's been doing well. He got 17 against New England the first time around.
Drop a player and then seeing him do well later in the season. It always pisses me off. I had Garrett Wilson for a long time.
Oh, trust me, that's what it happens to. I mean, Pollard.
I think Darrell Henderson is just whatever.
I just don't. It's so tough to pick a spider game.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't even think he has a quarterback. I think Tillett wins this one.
Yeah. I mean, especially with Kyler Murray maybe not going. I mean, Lamb should probably consistently put up more numbers. Higgins.
I mean, he's got Heineke, but he didn't even, what are you going to do with that?
No, you got to drop Heineke.
But I mean, it's against Houston, who's terrible, so maybe he'll get some.
Yeah, but against the run, so the running back should do better. Everybody's picked up Dawson Knox. He's like another league's bitch. I'd say Tillett Trey. The spider weaves another brilliant web in this game.
But it's just not. It's not designed for him in this one. But I mean, I guess the Kyler Murray thing. I mean, I guess it is a spider game in that I expect the point total to be. I think the over-under is going to be definitely 150 under. I would take the under on that.
Yeah, I mean, Nick and Jamie's team, Hunter, Henry, Henderson, that's a horrid roster. Drake London really hasn't done shit. Hunter, Henry, Henderson, Higgins, I'm taking Tillett Trey this one. It's not even going to be a spider game. It's just going to be a flat-out win.
Okay. I don't think. Yeah. If he doesn't win this, it becomes very interesting because then he goes to 7 and 4, and then he's one behind the 6 and 5 teams, and mind you, Nick and Jamie will be one of the 6 and 5 teams.
Yep.
And if Tillett gets dragged into that 6 and 5 bracket, he goes to the bottom of it.
Oh, he plummets all the way down. Yeah.
So I mean, this is a gigantic game for Tillett. I mean, this could be the difference between him being in the playoffs and being in 9th place, by next week.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row, he has a really big matchup So, I mean, it was like obviously he got screwed by the face mask last week, but this may be an even bigger game because as he gets closer to the middle of the pack, he could fall way.
I know he falls off a cliff if he
Oh my, goes way down. I mean, this is still a 1 game buffer.
yeah.
If the 5 teams catch up to him, he's going to be way. That's like you're talking about the whole logjam past him. He's
I
at
know.
the back of the sawmill.
I know. I mean, if he needs to continue to keep his win buff.
But a win puts him in really great shape because the worst he can finish is 8-6. And at that point, there'll be 3 weeks left in the season, and he'll have a 2-game buffer over everybody. So, I mean, this is a big game for Tilitrayer. Probably even bigger than last week because you don't want to be stuck in the log jam.
I know he needs to win this. I mean, he really does. I mean, I mean, with the 7, but it would just be an epic fall if he doesn't. I mean, but I think he's sincere. I mean, this is what I was talking about with Manny, though. I don't think that he was the danger.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think it would be. I mean, the person that Manny was afraid of could very well find himself quite quickly out of the playoffs completely. You know, which is why I think that the Hagglers were a way more dangerous team.
I mean, if this whole entire logjam bracket can catch up to Tilitrayer, every single one of them has more points than him, except for Nick and Jamie. And it's Jamie trailed by 15 points, so that's negligible. The entire logjam has more points than Tillett. I mean, he's sitting on a razor's edge right now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, not this week. Even if he loses this week, he still has a 1-game buffer. But it puts him in like a very precarious situation for the rest. But I mean, they're going to play each other. This logjam eventually is going to play each other. But with a win, he won't even have to worry about any of that. He'll be in really good shape.
Yeah. I think. I mean, look, if he wins, I think that he could kind of. You can kind of I think that will give him enough. I think this is the game that really where he could just hold everybody off. He'll still need another one, but I mean he really needs it here. And I don't know. I mean, does he have any like Zamunda games or anything coming up?
So next week he plays the Lightning Rods, another 5-5 logjam team.
And that's a tough one, by the way.
Manny, it's a battle for first. That's not going to be at all. And then finally he finishes up with Wakanda, who's been on the upswing.
I mean, he needs this game because he needs this game. I think if he loses this game, he could find himself out of the playoffs.
It seems like a bold statement, but it's very just on point. It all comes down to that damn point total.
Yeah, he's been a paper spider.
And I'm talking about, like, he's got 11-26. Like, a lot of these teams, I mean, 12-27, 12-9. I mean, it's more than 100-point swing. That's a lot to make up in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, like you said, he's got to keep winning because that logjam buzzsaw is getting closer and closer. But a win this week, and he's practically in the clear.
He's not in the clear, but I mean, it gives him. Reading off that, I think he loses the next few weeks up until maybe Wakanda.
We'll see.
In which case, you're looking at 8-6. In which case, you got a bunch of 6-5 teams now. Granted, they're playing each other, but a few are going to squeak through. And I don't know. A win this week, and I think he has just enough to make it. A loss this week, and I think he's out.
All right, fair enough.
All right, which brings us to... Doesn't that bring us to the fans game? I think so, right?
It's a very important game for the fan. He's in the logjam.
He is in the logjam.
Certainly 5-6 will not help his cause.
50-50 in this one. Wow, 115.20 to 115.2 was the projection.
With Charles Foster, your team's in trouble.
Well, he has an exact. Have you ever seen that where it's just like where the projection is literally the same?
Never.
Wow. To the decimal point. All right, so Hurts against Indianapolis. That should be. I feel like that should be a pretty good game. But you got Mahomes going against the Chargers. I think that should be a pretty good game for Mahomes. So you got really good quarterback battles there. St. Brown against the Giants. I mean, the Giants, they don't have a bad defense, but DJ Moore against Well, actually, Baltimore's a terrible pass defense. So DJ Moore, I mean, the quarterback.
No, but that's really a running team.
And well,
that's clearly a running team. And with that, what's this little whoosh symbol now that they're doing? Wind. What's next? Humidity.
Well, I mean, where's the?
I mean, what are they? What are we tracking now?
I don't know. So, and then you have
the ball even more. So DJ Moore, probably 10 points is a good projection for him.
Yeah, it would be if he can get that. That would be good.
Now, Robinson going to scoop up the Cooper Cup points.
I don't think he is. I mean, some people think he might. I just don't think he does. I think it's going to be Higbee that's going to take most of them.
Oh my God, Tyler Algiers ended up on Eugene's team. Oh my God, Tyler Algiers sucks.
Wow. I mean, 17, 30, and he picks him up after the 3 points. I mean, I'm assuming there's a bunch of buys that are going on for the fan here. Yeah. Etienne, Walker. I mean, this is a week.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Whew.
Yeah. So he's got some.
This could be. That's what I mean. This is where he's. I mean, Clever Name can catch him on a bad week.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he has to go with Algier in this one. So Barkley obviously will do fine. Pitts has been terrible. I think that's a high projection for him.
I mean, there's a lot of injuries going on there with the Chargers. I mean, Keenan Allen is just a joke. It depends if Williams comes back. Palmer is nothing to shout about.
Meanwhile, Jacobs and Cook. I mean, that's a good running. Deontay Johnson. I hate to pick against the fan because then we have to hear the fan mail, but I think I got to go Clever Name Pending in this.
I think Clever Name Pending. If there was a week that the champ could be upset here, I definitely think Clever Name Pending has a good chance here.
I do too. I don't think. I just think it's because he has Etienne and Walker on a bye this week. I think that is just going to hamstring him this week.
I mean, and he got 110 last week with those guys.
See, this is the problem with this league is just you want to relish in the failures of the people who brag so much, yet you hate the people that come and replace them. There's just no everybody turns into Gollum in this league once they get a win or two. The ring, I see it.
Yeah, I'm picking Clever Name in this one. This could be the upset of the week. Well, it can't be because they're tied in record, but it's definitely gonna be an upset. They're tied in point projections.
I know you don't mean upset in terms of upset this week, but upset in terms of record. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that, which means that we're gonna get a D rating on this episode. But you know what? It's been one of our worst episodes anyway. One of our hosts fell asleep in the middle of it. Half of it was with a rabbit on my face. So, you know, if you're going to ever have a week where you're going to get a terrible rating, you might as well lean into the skid. So, sure. Clever Name Pending.
I think the people love it. It's getting more controversial. It's getting more racy. Getting more edgy.
I mean, yes.
All right, let's get our lock of the week is Zamunda, of course.
Well, I mean,
I think 79 is
nearly Gronky Kong over Zamunda, which puts Gronky Kong into the 6-5 bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the upset of the week.
Upset of the week, I'm going to say, is Wakanda over the Hagglers. I mean, I don't know what this guy has had motivation-wise, but I'd say Wakanda. This guy's motivated. He wants something.
Okay, he wants something. This is a tough one to pick the upset of the week. Tillett over Nick and Jamie, I guess. And I didn't even pick Tillett to win. But yes, I think Tillett's going to find a way.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't even feel that confident. I actually don't think that he's going to find a way, but, whatever. If I have to pick an upset of the week. All right, so let's see. So then if they hold, so then Scotty Doesn't Know moves to 6-5. 1603 is dropped to 6-5. Lightning Rods, they could be if they were to win at 6-5.
Mm-hmm.
Your game doesn't really impact that.
Eugene would be 6-5 if he won. Rocky Kong 6 and everybody, and Nick and Jamie would be 6. Everybody would be 6-5.
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams at 6-5. That's colossal. And then at that point, Tillett would be 7-4, just one game ahead. The only thing that doesn't impact it is my game. Let's just say I lost.
Though if you were to lose to Wakanda, then you're also only one game ahead.
So 7-4 and 6-5. I mean, that would be humongous. Only Hackettstown's finest. He would be 8-3. 2 games, 2 game lead. I mean, this could be very interesting.
I mean, yeah, if you were to lose this game, I mean, it would be very tough for Manny to not get first place.
Oh yeah, he'd be cruising along.
If you win, I think that he's still,
I win in a very tough spot because then he plays you next week,
and you have a very easy schedule going forward.
Yeah, it's on this lighter side.
I mean, I think the finest really needs to be rooting hard for Wakanda this week, because I honestly think this week against Wakanda will determine first place. As bold a statement as that's going to be, I think that's the case, because I just think that you have an easy schedule after this, and I think that if you could win this game,
the next 2 weeks is Charles Foster and Nick.
For you,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So add 2 more. So if you're 8-3, then you're 10-3. You're looking at, and the finest. I mean, they have. Who do we say? So they have me next week. All right. I don't know, but we'll see. But then after that, he has Tillett Trey. He's got the spiderweb.
Ooh, Tillett Trey. That's a huge matchup.
And then he finishes up against Rocky Kong.
Another big matchup.
So, I mean, versus as opposed to the Hagglers who, Zamunda. I mean, you do have Scotty Doesn't Know, who is projected to get I need to look ahead. Why is he only projected to get 53 points that game? All of Green Bay is, oh my god. Does he have anybody on the bench? I mean, I guess he'll get them in there. The entire team's on a bye. I mean, and that's a long way away. But I'm just saying, I think it I think first place is determined in the Wakanda Hagler game.
Man, Wakanda came out swinging. He's got a big lead, or a good impact on his projection with that 21 points.
It's the Thursday curse,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, all right. I don't know if we're gonna have a show next week. Maybe I'll try, because I know I have to actually work Wednesday, which is really Thursday for me, in which case I'll have the computer on, and maybe if I'm not exhausted at 8 in the morning or something, I can record something. But I mean, also, by the way, just remember, so a couple things to note for the league. Trade deadline, if you want Tyreek Hill, he's available, will be tomorrow.
19? Well, it's the 19th. I think it's... Oh, yeah, tomorrow's the final day.
Yeah, so the 19th is... So get your trade offers in now.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is an extremely short week in general, because you got the Thanksgiving game. So you got, so you can have Detroit playing Buffalo, I believe, Dallas, Giants, and there's another Thursday night game. So you got a bunch of Thursday night games as we really get into the home stretch of the season right now. It's been such a fascinating season, I have to say. I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
and I've never. I mean, you really can't pick who. It's so. I mean, there's to have so many teams so close at this stage is really interesting. I mean, in anything. I mean, fortunes can just I mean, there's so many opportunities and yeah, it will all be. It will be an exciting end.
Yep.
All right.
All right, everyone. Good luck.
Yep. So until next time, good luck, everyone.
Good luck, people. Peace out.